Yahshua, I surrender all to Him. I freely give. I will ever harbor and trust Him in His presence daily live. I surrender, oh, I surrender, to Thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender, I all to Yahshua, I surrender humbly at His feet I bow. Worldly pleasures are all forsaken. Take me, Yahshua, take me now. I surrender, oh, I surrender, oh,
Baruch are they that keep his testimony, that seek him with the whole land. They also do no iniquity, they walk in his ways. That has commanded us to keep your precepts diligently. Oh, that my way was directed to keep your statutes. Then shall I not be ashamed when I have respect unto all your commandments. Yes. I will praise you with the uprightness of man. When I have learned your sadical judgment, I will keep your statutes. Hallelujah. Forsake me not. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Told you, precious Abba Yahweh. If you awaken us to another Yom, Abba Yahweh. You about us back to the bed once again, Abba Yahweh. Down on humble knees, Abba Yahweh. We told you, Abba Yahweh, because there's no other place, Abba Yahweh, if we'd rather be. We're in the bed to lift up your mighty name, Abba Yahweh. For all the wonderful, marvelous work that you have done for us, Abba Yahweh. Hallelujah. How the shalom that you gave us, Abba Yahweh. How the strength of your hand, Abba Yahweh. That you have kept us to endure this little journey that we own, Abba Yahweh. We rebuke you this morning, Abba Yahweh. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Let us stand to our feet, nation. Hallelujah. Blow the trumpet in the mountain of Yahweh and YHWH Precious Abba Yahweh, which is the Hashemayim, Kadosh is your mighty Hashem, your welcome to come, your will be done, and earth, Abba Yahweh, and it is the Hashemayim. Give us this day our daily lesson, and forgive us our debt, Abba Yahweh, and we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, Abba Yahweh. For yours is the miracle, the power and the honor, Abba Yahweh, forever, Abba Yahweh. So be it, Abba Yahweh. May it be fulfilled in the precious and mighty name of YHWH, HaMashiach. Your Malak be us the lesson this day, Abba Yahweh, to the nation in their rank, every four corner of earth, Abba Yahweh. For your Sadiqa to stand, Abba Yahweh, that whatever may come against them, Abba Yahweh, to let them know that you're in control, Abba Yahweh, because your Torah never fails, Abba Yahweh. In the precious and mighty name of YHWH, HaMashiach, I pray. Hallelujah, hallelujah. 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 For we have entered into your bed, Yahweh, on this Yom, to bring you the offering of Todah and praise, Shahah unto your Kodesh name. For you have been told unto YisraYah'ale, and we baruch you, Abba Yahweh. Hallelujah. So let us sing YisraYah'ale, and lift our voice with a full heart unto Yahweh.
Yeah.
come to VIII Israel scattered throughout this great creation of Almighty Yahweh.
Shabbat.
We will love you and we bless you. And we speak the greetings of YHWH unto you all, friends, enemies, despisers.
Hallelujah.
Whomever you are, we greet you in YHWH's mighty name.
Yeah.
The reason I say that because there are those that listen that you despise to correct me. And they oppose what I say because it deals with one aspect of their lives. Is it all that don't give me? And that is their corruption and their sin. My mistake. Now do you hear me? All right. I had the microphone off. Again, greetings to you all, our friends, our foe, and our enemy alike. We greet you in YHWH's mighty name. I want to teach. There's one thing about forensic investigation. It is always the smallest thing that it is so minuscule, its depth. There is not much focus upon it. And so we as a nation of people, we tend to read because we are absolute about meanings of words, and we know certainly that that's what it means. Now we all, I say that conclusively and inclusively, we all, none of us really have a command of what we call the English vernacular or any language. If I went and quizzed us all, we will understand how little we know about the functionality or the syntax of the language of this country we're in. If I laid a list of words before us, many maybe can choose the verb or the adjective, superlative, but most of us, that includes me, cannot. So I must do the most inspective forensic on everything I read out of the book because I miss so much. I was saying to the Achim yesterday, I am never, or have I ever sat here or stood here and thought that that was an excellent teaching. Because the volume of what is missed, and because of my juvenile ways, I'm trying to get it all in, and I miss more than I get in. So I'm glad for that. In essence, we will always be able to be taught.
Yeah.
I want to go back because I want to come not to a conclusion here in Revelation 13:1, but I want to say the latter part of that, Revelation YisraYah'ale, chapter 13, verse 1. I want to teach this the next time I'm up. Having 7 heads and 10 horns. Having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the reason I'm pronouncing that now is so that we may be intrigued by today's teaching. Then we will look forward to the understanding of this definitive. 7 heads and 10 horns. And not only 10 horns, and upon the 10 horns, 10 crowns. And there is a name that is written in that kingdom construct and that power. So I want to break down Revelation 13, verse 1 to that part of the sentence. There's a comma there, so that lets me know that there is an independent statement that speaks in itself of what this contains, but yet it gives amplification to what that comes before it. So I want to say that maybe a 2-part, a special teaching for us here. All right? Let me begin here again in Revelation 13 and 1. It is so important that we take time to understand just one thing, instead of trying to understand the multiples of things. And that is the gravest mistake I make all the time when I'm here, sitting here, because I want you to grasp everything. And because of the intrigue of what is being said, not me, but what is being said, then I omit, because I speak to my mind and talk all the time as I examine the key thing. It is so much that I do miss, and I'm glad because of that, then others will fill in the space of the void. It says this in Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. What is profound here is these two words, I stood. In the Greek platform, his Demi. He says, I stood. I remained, I endured my fears, the trembling of my heart, I stood. There are words that are spoken in Torah, and in the midst of the forensics of that word, there are things that are hid. You cannot understand why he stood. We must examine those that have stood. I want to examine that first, all right? This is my methodology of breaking down the essence of each verse. You can't break them down 10 verses down. You must start at the inception of that verse and break down every word. That's the way you must do it. It cannot be done any other way. And so we try to draw from things that really have no essence of this. I want to deal with those two words for a moment. His Demi, I stood. One that stands, his Demi implies it is one that upholds authority. One stands with the firm of that authority without doubt. One understands one's position and one's authority. And so that's why Yochanan, he stood. He did not waver. He did not faint. In essence, he stood firm. He stood with confidence because he knew the foundation that he was standing on. In order for me as an ignorance man to understand this disposition of Yochanan, I have to examine in every place where that is pronounced. And you can see in Torah, it is only pronounced with one nation. And those that stood, whether it was Moshe, whether it was Hanak, whether it was YHWH, whether it was Shaul, it was always with the dealing of the nation YisraYah'ale and no other one. I want to teach on that for the moment. But let me finish this portion of this verse until I get to the comment. He stood upon the sands of the sea. The sand of the sea. So does that imply that he stood upon sand? As it would to me, the close examination will prove all things out. Yeah. I examined the word sea, S-E-A. I want to do that before I began the I stood. When I examined the word sea, I see that it derives from two words. Sea, in the Greek, is thelesa. 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 In the Hebraic term, it is Yah. Y-A-W. Yah. But thelesa. And so in my intuitiveness, to find out what is thelesa, I found that the word thelesa, the sea, it comes from the word halis. Halis. Like halis. Halis. It comes from that word. The origin of thelesa, it comes from halis. And when I discovered the impact of what halis is, simply implies it means one thing. It means salt. S-A-L-T. And so my forensic exploration, it took me to here, to the Titiya. Matthew's chapter 5, verse 13. He tells us that we are the Halles. We are the salts of the earth. Yochanan begins this intuitive conversation with us, and I stood, and I stood, and I stood. I stood in that position of a thelesos, yet that word implies from its origins is that what it is come out of, it is Halles, meaning salt, S-A-L-T. Yahshua says we are the salt. We are the Halles of the earth.
Yes.
But if the salt has lost its contents, it has lost its flavor. If the salt has lost its importance, notice what he says, wherewith or how shall it have it is valuable, or what is the purpose of it? It is of no value. Yochanan said, and I stood. I stood. I stood because there was a great interaction there. There was something there. There was a people there. And all of this is hidden through the forensics of Torah. We have to be diligent in our effort. I don't care what we do in life, if there is not anything diligent, it will always fail. I don't care if you don't reach that point, but you must always apply the diligence to get there. To get there. You must always apply that. And believe me, we will get there. We will see that in the end. We are the salt of the earth. If we lose our fragrance or the taste of salt, what is the purpose of it? He says, it is therefore tav for nothing. It has no purpose but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. Have we examined the totality of that and see the ramification of what Yahshua said here? If we examine the entirety of the forensics of the verse, I could teach on this one verse right here for the next 6 months without missing one beat. You understand? I know I can. I see what is all written here. And I stood on the sands of the Thalassas, on the sand of the sea, and to understand and to make sure that even this thought, how it's revealed in Torah, I want to make sure as I instruct us and show us that those that have ever stood have always stood before the nation, Moshe, the Hanuk, Shaul, and it is the same verbalization in every account. But before then, just be patient. I want to exhort us again and show us just the pattern of these 7 demonic kingdoms. All right, one verse I want to read. I want to read 3 verses total that deals with this. It's in Marcus Lucas, Mark chapter 16 and verse 9. Yahshua had resurrected from the death. Death could not hold him in the grave. There was no power that could subdue the power of Yahshua. It says that Yahshua, he had risen early the first day after the Shabbat, after the Shabbatot. He appeared first unto Miriam. What first unto her? He appeared first to his nation, to his people, and only those of whom he had cast out 7 demons, showed them devil's kingdom powers that brings about the ignorance of Yah and the denial and the defiance of Torah. We'll see precisely today, nation. There was a kingdom within. The battle was against the kingdom of the forces of hell, and anything is hellish or it has the nature of darkness. It's against Almighty Yah. I don't care who it is. It is Nachash. He made Hashatan. He was a kerek of light. He brought forth the beauty of Almighty Yah, until he allowed his own thoughts of Yah's creation to enter. We have much conversation about his word because I thought, but this is how I believe, but that does not make it right. Not at all. He appeared to the kingdom of his people that we are full of our own selves and this demonic kingdom power that produced nothing. So he appeared unto her. He appeared unto her. He appeared unto her a second, a third, a first. She represents totality of the revived kingdom, the renewed kingdom. When there is the power of Yah's 7 hewn pillars that we stand upon, we will be strong nation. And there's nothing we cannot overcome. Period. We're not dealing with some kind of demon that's going to rise up out of the ocean. Some kind of man. The man is within here. The man is within your own mind. We're going to prove all things by Torah today, nation. All right? Hallelujah, hallelujah. What are our 7 pillars? I want to show you the 7 pillars that we must surround our minds by. All right? This is what Shlomo, the wisest man on the face of the earth, look what he says in Mishli, Proverbs, quickly. Proverbs chapter 9 and 1 verse. Out of her was cast out 7 demons. He came to her first. And wisdom, we need wisdom above all things. We need the wisdom, the experience in this Torah of Yah. Get wisdom. Get understanding. Not what's the first, we must get wisdom, because you cannot get understanding without wisdom. Look what it says in Proverbs 9:1. Wisdom, chukmah, that we have the ability to be skilled in the application of warfare for Yah. We're soldiers on the field of Almighty Yahweh. We're fighting for our destiny of our lives. It says wisdom has built her house, and nothing at all can destroy the house of wisdom. She has hewn out. She has not hewn. She has made. She has hewn out 7 pillars, not one. See, the one pillar that we have hewn, listen, nation, it's me. It's myself. It's I. Wisdom has hewn out 7 pillars of law and construct of your structure. You know how to react, how to carry yourself. You know how to reply. You will know all of that. But you must get wisdom first. And then when you get wisdom and the understanding of the experience of wisdom, your downs, your shortcomings, your downfalls, then you will get understanding, you will get discernment of what, not me discerning you, not me looking at you weary and trying to discern you, discerning my own intents and the intent of my own heart and the level of my own corruption and my wickedness. You notice the world today, everyone is looking for some strange thing to happen. This man is going to rise up. He has already risen. There was not another man that rose up in Edom. There was not a man that rose up in Hava. She had the instructions of kingdom power. And when she sinned against Yah, she knew she was guilty. And so she drew a companion in with her. If I die, you die with me. If I go to prison, you're going to. And people have lied on one another, and both in prison. She had nothing to do with that. That's the way that is. I, me, myself, and I. There are 7 pillars, or the Almud. There are 7 strong towers. I can't wait to hear that next week. Of the pillars of wisdom, nation. And she hewed them out. In our own mind, she's the one that establisheth. She calls the 7 powers of the Rachem of Yah, how we use them expressively, and how we allow them to dictate to us. Whether you hear from a stranger's mouth or one you don't even know, wisdom will know and understand a wise saying. We become so ignorant we don't understand wise sayings. You don't want to hear nothing wise. Because it's all about I. It's all about me and what I think. It's not that way, nation. We're going to lose our nephews. We're going to lose the life that is in us, what little we have. And there should be no light shine. I don't care who we are, nation. And that's just a fact. In the essence, we must be real. And we must be real with me first. You cannot be real with anyone without being real with me first. With you. You must be real with you. With you. Hallelujah.
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 Let me read this quickly. This is what Dawid says. This is what caused the beast to rise in us. And I want to give us an example of that beast so you'll know. We are people that we complain about everyone, but you don't complain about yourself, do you? You complain about he, she, them, they, but you never complain about me. Because I'm greater than you, I, them. You never complain about me. We must learn how to critique ourselves and be genuinely honest with me, because you know you're a dirty liar, you know you're full of your own schism and your own damnable corruption. Nobody put that there but you. Nobody comes in your house but who you let in your house. Nothing comes in your mind but what you ponder, meditate, think upon, and what you have this great fervor of admiration and love for. You got love to sin and to do wrong. You will allow the content of that to talk to your mind constantly. So nobody make you do it. The devil did not make you do nothing. You did it because of your own nachash, because you have spoken evil to Yah and you've done evil against him. I will show us. All right, let me read this quickly. All right, leadership. This is the beast spirit of this time. This is what it is. All right, and I want to show us one example after that, and I will get into the power of I stood and the first portions of that Revelation 13. I must, because there is so much I want to teach this year. And I must do it expeditiously. Look what Dawid says here in Tehillim Psalms. Psalm chapter 73 and verse 22. The words Ba'ah is only used one time in the entire Torah. And that's right here. The words Ba'ah, Ma'ah, Ma'ah. This is the only place it is used here. Dawid says, so foolish. He's a king. He is the mighty king of a nation of people.
Yes.
How many of us will say, I am so immature, stupid, foolish? You won't say that about you.
Yeah.
But you will know that I'm that way.
Yes.
You can critique me. This is the beast of our nature.
Yes.
This is how we think.
Yes.
You understand? There's no man going to rise up with some kingdom. This dirty whole America, China, they're all coming down. God's going to save his people from the hellishness. Only his people. That week said I was foolish. So baha, so brutish. Was I so foolish? And my stupidity was beyond volume. That's what Bacha is. It is a brutish, ignorant individual. That their stupidity shows you the darkness of their countenance. And we get stupid. We get dark in our countenance. You don't have to see it. You can see it. Look in the mirror.
Yes.
And we pretend that we're not that way. That's the Nachash. Because Nachash begins with a lie.
Yes.
Well, it's not me, it is you, my friend.
Yeah.
It's you. Is Hashatan the father of lies?
Yes.
Is he the father of lies?
Yes.
He was the father of lies. Why? Because he did not abide or go, he did not abide in Torah. We must abide, our minds must walk in Torah. We must love Torah. We can't love mama, daddy, sisters, brothers, no one more than we love Torah.
Yes.
And that's just a fact, nation. That we said I was foolish, I was stupid, and my stupidity made me brutish. I'm going to command and show you I'm right, I'm doing it right. That's what is. You're so stupid, you're brutish with it. You get mad, you get mean. You show your naked backside.
Yes.
This is forensics here.
Hallelujah.
This is examination. Believe me. He said, I was so foolish. Was I? Me. First person singular. It was me. It was not you. It was me. So foolish was I. And he says, I was not only foolish, but I was shagag. I was ignorant.
Yes.
I don't want you to even answer this. How many of you really say that I'm ignorant? Don't answer. You don't think of yourself as being ignorant. You think of yourself being smart. And if you prove one thing to someone, you see, if I'm wrong about something, you prove it to me. See, that's what it is. That's right, you're right. We think that elevates us to plateau that we're smart. It's stupid. It's beyond shagag. He said, not only was I foolish, but I was ignorant. In this shagag is that I had deceived my own self. I was so deceived by my own foolishness that my ignorance taught me that I was not operating in that beastly nature. Correct a wise person, they will love you. Musa. You correct a fool, you're going to get a blot, you're going to be brought to shame, because a fool will debate you. A fool will show you how right I am. But a wise man, he hears. And the wise daughter becomes wiser. But a fool, they are going to let you know, and I know, and it will even themselves know. Now, I'm lower than the lowest of all human beings. I don't exalt myself. I don't think of me highly.
Yeah.
Because it must take the same chesed of Yah that brought me out of the cauldron of the darkness of my hellish ways. That's the only thing that's going to keep me, and nothing else.
Hallelujah.
And so if I'm not appreciative to know what passed yesterday, and he brought me to the Shabbatot, then I'm a fool. But we become foolish, and we become arrogant. It is the boardroom of Nachash. It is the boardroom when Hava began to extrapolate or speak beyond the soundness of the boundaries of Almighty God. He gave her a Torah dispenser, Adon.
Yes.
And when she thought she had accumulated all that he had, then she defied and said, you can speak any way you want to. I don't give a damn what he said. And that's the way we are.
Wow.
We think some monster is going to rise above the water. It is going to come out of the Mayan. There's a monster coming out of the Atlantic Ocean, okay?
Yeah.
There's a monster on the sands of the sea. He's going to raise that violent head up. We do it all the time. That we say, so foolish was I. I want us to retain that. He was foolish because I want to show us one example, and I must get into the depth of this.
Yeah.
He says, so foolish was I, and I was so I was so deceived, I was as a beast. He said, I was just like a beast before you. You understand that? He calls himself a beast, a behemoth, something that is brutal, huge, and we think we're huge in everything in life. What I say has more value, it's more important. And that's just a fact, nation.
Yes.
We're huge in our own eyes.
Yeah.
I'm nothing, I don't want to be anything.
Yeah.
Because my end is just like your end.
Yeah.
A rotten, vile odor of a corpse that the same skin worms eat me. They will eat Mr. Donald Trump when he goes.
Yes.
There's nothing special about any of us. He is special.
Yeah.
And that's the fact of the matter. He is the special one. And we said I was as a beast before Almighty Yah. That's what I was, like a beast. So a man that Yah had chose to be the apple of his eye, you tell me a man of this magnitude was in this kind of a strait, and you and all your pristine religious ideas and your false realities, you think that you don't fit this as well?
Yeah.
You're just like a beast.
Yeah.
No different than a beast.
Yes.
None was so different. And that beast nature comes by one order. As the old folks would tell us, don't get too high-minded, baby.
Yeah.
Don't become high-minded.
Yes.
Don't think more of yourself than you really are. They will tell us that.
Yes.
If it's anything, my mother, grandmother, those that will always say, don't get high-minded. And what you got today, baby, could be gone tomorrow now. Don't think like that.
Yeah.
You got blessed today, then you bless others.
Yeah.
You got talents, you bless others with the talent.
Yeah.
If you're stronger than others, you bless them with your strength.
Yes.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Become this arrogant people. I want to show us this example of one of the most violent beast spirits, how it arises from us, from me, from you as well. And when you become beastly, you become brutal. Oh, I know the connotation of the word beast, or he was beast, or she was a beast. I know the connotation of that word today. They utilize that in their vocabulary, do they not?
Yeah.
Man, he was a beast. I mean, he was bad to the bone. He terrorized her. Boy, she was a beast. I'm telling you, she had it all. She was the real deal, boss man. You understand? I know that. But the origin of the word still carries its connotation. You can twist it all you want to, and any way you want to. It still carries the same implication as it was when Yah created man. And when he brought forth that beast spirit, that nachash, that if we're not careful, is going to overtake you. And that's just a fact. I don't care who we are. I want to show you this heart of the beast. I want to show you what Dawid talked about. And yet, because Dawid confessed, he will not give it over unto the same type of appetite. Now, there are those that speak from the book of YHWH, and they think they know, but they don't know. I want to read this expeditiously.
Yeah.
Follow me. Let us pursue this in YHWH chapter 5. I want to go there quickly. And I don't like to read this much at one time, but I must, all right? This is the king Belshazzar. His name implied that my Lord, my demons, my devil, my God protects me. We know that God protects us. And so in verse 2, I want to move expeditiously. In verse 2, Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, that's why you're not given over to wine, and you don't drink wine, and you don't get drunk, you don't get tipsy, nation.
Yeah.
That's not what it's for. Does the stomach shake, or does the sickness, you drink a little bit. These liars are getting drunk. And they're saying that YHWH, that Jesus, what they call him, his eyes was red because he drank wine. Well, you're damnable twisted dog of what Jesus did. But my YHWH did not get drunk. And his eyes was red because of the carnage that was in his mind, that I'm going to rape the hell out of these people. That's what it was. And so they were drinking wine, and the arrogance of this dog, he commanded them, said, bring the chalices of the gold and the silver vessels, which Father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the bed, taken out of God's house. You take out of God's house today, and then you go forth and utilize that to carry out your corrupting, your sin. He said that was taken out of the bed, which was in Jerusalem. You don't take this today, nature. And let it console you, or try to console your own evil and your own wickedness. We better take heed, listen, and learn, and take the volume of this truth. He said that the king, and he says, and the Ramadan, but the Lord, he says, his wives and his concubines might drink therein, lest disrespect Yah's house and show him that Baal, my God, is greater. Myself being a God, myself being a king, I'm greater than all of the power that he possessed. So we will defy you. We will drink out of the golden vessels that was set apart for Yah's house. Don't you know there is one vessel set apart for his house? That's our bodies. Yeah. You can drink and pour into this vessel lies and all kinds of corruption and evil nature. And then you drink from that end, and you tell others, come on and sit with me in my lies and my corruption, pretending that you're of Yah. You can't do that, nation. So they defied Yah, and we defy him. They defied him and his concubines, that we always have this drunken, stupid frivolity. Then they brought the golden vessels, which was taken out of bed of Yah, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and all of his great congregation, his wives. You notice it mentioned his wives and concubines, whores and all, lust and every kind of foul thing. Drink in them. It says, and they drank wine, and they shevach, they praised, they law, they exuded their voices, they praised so the gods of gold, they praised the gods of gold, the gods of gold, they praised the gods of silver, the gods of silver, the gods of brass, of iron, wood, and stone. That has not changed. Those that would get up on the Shabbat, and they will spend every waking moment polishing their brass and cleaning their house and making it fresh and clean, and all of the scouring of the filth of their sin shall pollute it again. And they will spend all day, because as a child, that's what we did. We did that on the Shabbatot. Swept the parking lot and washed cars and all of that. They're praising their gods. They're those that will shine their cars, sit back, drink beer, look at that all day. That's evil. That's beyond evil. Mow their grass and see how beautiful their estate is. And they'll sit back and relish in that. I relish in Him. His power to correct me and to cleanse me. You all know I'm talking the truth. That is a reality. It says, in the same hour came forth a finger of man's hand, and he wrote over against. You notice what he wrote over against? The candlesticks. he wrote the wisdom of Yahweh, the 7 rachim, the candlesticks upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. He saw, we have seen the hand that have wrote or have written this book. There's only one hand. And that's the hand of YHWH. We have seen the hand. He has placed that hand upon us all. The king saw the hand. And for us to see the hand, and what the hand has brought us through and put us in that position, you will be a fool of a beast to reject that and deny it and to think by your own accord you have accomplished something. You not going to accomplish anything but one thing in this life. You didn't know it was life until you began to live it. And the only other thing is that death. And that's a fact of the matter. This fool saw the handwriting on the wall. It says when Belshazzar saw this, his countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were moved loose, and his knees smote against each other. He feared, because he knew one thing. It is a terrifying thing to fall into the hands of the living among. It's a terrible thing. It's terrifying. It is the yirah. It is an extreme terror to fall into Yah's great hand. And he knew that he had fallen into the hands of Yah. And that's why his body quaked. And he shook in the fashion that he did. And the king cried aloud to bring in, he wanted his astrologers and the Chaldeans and the witch doctors and the root doctors and the lie doctors, the soothsayers. And the king spoke and said to the wise men of Babel, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with the beauty of scarlet and the colors that only is of the royal estate. That's why when I talk on the colors of Yah, all of these are the colors of Yah. It is the royalty of Yah's house. He said, I will put chains of gold about their neck. Well, everybody wearing chains of gold today. I mean, this was pure gold here. It's not that trashy they wear, but they wear chains like they will put them on their dogs. They wear chains and huge gold chains on their dogs. I'm talking about gold chains. He said, about their neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. I will exhort you if you can tell me what this means. Can nobody tell you what the book means unless one has the ruach of Yah? And he must read from the pages, and the ruach of Yah will show us and guide us the interpretation by what is already written. There is no voice that's going to speak from the heavens. And that's the truth. There's no voice that's going to talk to you. It's going to be from the chronicles of this book. No voice. He said, I need to understand what this is saying. Then came the king, verse 8, and all the king's wise men, and they could not read. These wise men, they cannot read this book. They struggle. They want to tell you. They want to show you what it means, but they cannot tell you. And all of them could not understand the writing. We don't understand the writing because we read it. Saying letters when you can't understand it. You can understand the letters, but you can't understand the writings. He says, and they could not make known to the king the interpretation thereof. But there was one in verse 12. The 12 tribes of YisraYah'ale. Isn't that amazing? There was one by the name of YHWH. Hallelujah. So they sent to this master of the scroll of Yah. Verse 12. Since an excellent Ruach. This is what he had upon him. This is the only way you're going to interpret this book. You must have an excellent Ruach. And there must be a knowledge of this book. And you must have, you must have understanding. You must be able to discern. He was a man of that personality. Also, there's a comma, interpreting of dreams, and he could solve the most difficult problem. That's what the mind of Yahshua is. There is no problem, as we would say in our religious activities, that he cannot solve. And there's no problem that the mind of Yahshua, that's why we must let the same mind. We must let the same mind that was in Yahshua, it must be in us. And that mind solves everything. There is no difficult problem for the mind of Yahshua HaMashiach. And not only does that mind do that, but it explains things. It gives us knowledge of those things. It interprets those things to give us wisdom. We're found the same as Daniel YahWH. There was no other one like him. I'm not like him, and neither you. No other one. There's not a man in this hour that's like Daniel YahWH. There's not a man in this hour that's like Daniel YahWH, that can interpret and solve the problems. Let me say this to people of evil. We're not going to solve the problem of our great agonies by some kind of march or some kind of socializing of things. It's not going to happen. We got to get that dirty, wicked, nasty heart right. And once we learn how to love each other, we can solve every problem.
Hallelujah.
There's not a problem too hard for Yah. We must get our dirty, nasty hearts right. You can beg Mr. Trump. I beg him for nothing. I didn't beg Obama. I didn't beg Clinton. I didn't beg the Bushes. We're not beggars. Now we said I was young and I'm old. For I've never seen the Sadiq of Yah forsaken, or the zero of those, his offsprings are begging bread. I wouldn't vote for nobody to beg for some health care. Yahshua is my care.
Hallelujah.
And that's me. We're not beggars nation. I'm not going to do anything to beg for food stamps. Get out and dig me a plot. You can't do that here. Put me out there. No one like him. So they had to call for him. It says that when no one found the same as Daniel, whom the king Belshazzar, now let Daniel be called, that he will show us. He knew that he would show us. Only Yahshua can show us interpretation of this book.
Yes.
These men that call themselves prophets today, they're not prophets. There's not one prophet in America. I'm not a prophet. I'm a simple messenger of Yah. They rejected the prophets. They rejected the judges. They rejected the apostles, the Shalishim, and above all, they rejected Yahshua.
Yes.
You tell me they're apostles today. Oh, I know he would give some gifts. And he gave those gifts, and we can see how that even during the time after Moshe, how everything went back to the run of every kind of darkness there was. There was no voice to be heard. They didn't even hear from the heavens at all. And it's the same thing today. These blind dogs, they call themselves apostles and prophets, and nothing but lying damn devils. Little young boys can't even wash their buttock, still living with their mammy. Still living with their mammy. Don't even have jobs to take care of babies that they have birthed by some woman. Oh, I got it right. Sitting around playing YouTube and video games all day. I got it right. Come on down and work with me, apostles and prophets, for a day. Give me a week. Come on down. We'll find out your apostleship, all right? They're not the Shlishach of Almighty God. Moving straight ahead. Verse 15 of the same chapter. And now the wise men, the astrologers, those that love necromancing, those that conjure up demons, and don't think that there was just a specific group that did that. We conjure up our own demons.
Yeah.
You conjure up your demons, you began to think back then what I did, how I was, and all that, and you began to conjure up some of the most violent, evil things that anyone could conjure, all right? That's what you do. You're nothing but a Shaphat. You conjure your own demons, your own devils. Because we're cowards and godless, we want to blame me. No, it's you, my friend. They have been brought in before me, that they should read the writing and make known me the interpretation thereof, and they cannot show the interpretation of the thing. You cannot just read this and think that there is understanding. You can read it but not interpret it. And that's why we got this religious mind today, the harsh, because your way is right. I don't care what you say, your way is right. It's not his way. It's not the ways of Yah. It's not his derech, it's your way. I'm right about everything and every matter. This is the way it is. You have not even labored in Torah enough to know. You have not spent countless hours and days and the trials of this. You have not even debated it, but yet you know. And you have read someone's opinion and you have concurred with that. You're weak. Whether you think you're strong, you're weak. You are weak. Because a strong lawyer, as Mr. Cochran said with O.J. Simpson, that if the glove doesn't fit, you must quit. He tried it on. It didn't fit. Well, I'm quite sure it didn't fit. It got wet and drawn up during the course of the time in that hot cell. And when they kept that, hallelujah. Verse 16. And I've heard of you that you can make interpretation and dissolve doubt. You can take away all my doubt. I know exactly what it is. That's what God does. He take away our doubt. We don't have to have doubt. We can rest in the assurance of Emunah. We are the children of Emunah. We're the children of faith. We walk by Emunah and not by sight. And they were looking at those things, but they did not have the Emunah of Yah, which SHABBAT YisraYah'ale had. And make known the interpretation thereof. You shall be clothed with scarlet and a chain and a chain. And all of these things. And Daniel Yahweh, verse 17, answered and said before the king, let your gifts be to yourself. I don't want what you got. I don't want your gifts. I will not take them. That's what an evil person does. They give a gift. Yes. They change the alternative. They change one mind. Yes. He said, I want your gift. They beat to you and give your rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing to the king and make known his interpretation. He said, I know what it means. I can read. I alone can read the handwritings on the wall. I will make known with your gifts. You will not do that with me. Yeah. A righteous man, don't take the gifts of the wicked, because it will obscure your judgment. And that's why the wicked give gifts. Yes. You change your judgment. Yes. I remember it was one that lived here many, many years ago when we first started. And they gave my imam, they were about the same size of very expensive clothing. And I knew what the person was doing. I said, take them back. Well, my imam didn't have anything fancy like that. It wasn't fancy, but you knew they were expensive. She said, all right. I said, take them back. I know what that person is doing. She took them back. It's almost like when someone does one wrong, they think that giving someone something, a gift, resolves everything. No, you got to resolve what's in your damn double wicked heart, man. Yeah. Come on, woman. You got evil ways. You cook me a potato pie and some pig foots. That doesn't resolve anything. Fry me some chicken with some cornbread muffins. That's stupid. Yes. It doesn't resolve that. You got to get the thing right in your own heart and resolve your own heart. Yes. You don't have to give no gift. By and by, one will see that you're doing right and operating right. Carrying yourself right in the right order before Yah.
Hallelujah.
Then Yah said, I don't want your gifts. Give it to another, and I will read the writing to the king and make known. I will make Yalda, I will make understanding unto you what this dream implies, the writing and the implication. Verse 18. Okay, he says, I want to remind you what he says. Yahweh the Most High, He gave. You understand that? No one has given you life but Yah. No one gave you breath this morning but Yah, even this morning. And we forget things like that. We think that myself has done it. That's the foolish, beastly nature. That's what it does. We think we can do anything that we want. Well, I give you my gift. That Yah said, I don't want your wicked gift. You think that I will say something to soothe you and to please you. And that's what a gift does. There are folks have sent their offerings back. I don't want their gifts here. And that's a fact. You can't buy me with gifts. I don't care what kind of gifts you're given. I don't care why you have ceased. You can't buy me with that. I'm not going to capitulate to your lies and what you believe. Let's prove it in the annals of the book. Prove it. And I will tell everyone I'm wrong. That's why I'm going to deal with this intercalary and the seasons and times of Yah. Because many are foolish. And the unlearned nation as a student of this book. He says that the Most High Yah, our Abba, He provided. He is the one that permitted your father Nebuchadnezzar, your father, a kingdom. Yah takes up, He rises up, and He takes down.
Yes.
It makes no difference. He put a wicked man in power, and He put a righteous man in power. He brings the righteous man down, and He will bring the wicked man down too. He said He gave your father this kingdom. Not only did He give him a kingdom, He gave him majesty. Not only majesty, but Yah gave, you tell me a wicked man like that? Boel, the kingdom of Babylon. Not only that, but He gave him wealth. Oshir, riches. He was happy. That's why he got so bold. He said, I can drink out the cups of the house of Yah because I am like Him. I become like Him. He said, Yah gave all that. And not only that, He gave him honor. He gave him honor. He said, hold up, King. I'm not through yet. Let's put a semicolon. Let's put a colon right there. He said, and for the majesty that He gave him for what Yah put on that man. In every great house, as Al-Zaki taught years ago, there are many kinds of vessels. Vessels of honor and vessels of dishonor. Vessels of gold, vessels of silver. There are many kinds of vessels. He says, and for the majesty that God gave him, not some, but all people, all nations,
Yes.
all languages, trembled and feared before Him. They respected Him because Yah's hand was upon Him. And all nations, whether they spoke or they or not, the language of Babylon, they all feared Him. Whom He would kill and whom He would keep alive, and whom He sets up and whom He put down. You tell me Yah will kill, slay, harap.
Yes.
He puts up and He brings us down to the lowest depths of the earth. That's why our foreparents, they were ignorant in the sense they were not schooled like us, that our ignorance is so pronounced as pathetic. Don't get too high-minded.
Yes.
Don't think more of yourself than you should. Because what goes up must come down.
Yes.
Those were wise proverbs that put foundations in me. It did. This is what He says. And to whom he was set up, he put down. Verse 20. YHWH, this is the catalyst here. Same thing with Dawid. But when your heart was ruined, it was left. You had exalted yourself. You thought more highly of yourself. You will not do what they do or that we did. It's by the chesed and the kindness of Yahweh. I learned that as a young man ignorant of this truth. Don't ever think or look at someone, what you perceive as a deficiency, that you're better or you're better off. No. No. Not at all. He said, because your own heart, it was ruined, was exalted above others, above me. And that's what Nahash does. And that's what Hashatan says in that beast way, the fire. You're alive now. There's nothing he can do. Become like him. He said, when your heart was lifted up, and this is what devastates us. You ever looked at somebody you knew they were hard and angry, they were upset, their hearts were hard, you could see it in the countenance of their face. I can tell when a man's forehead is hard. I can tell when a daughter, her disposition has shifted and altered. You may not can, but I've lived a while. I can. He says not only, but your heart, it was hard. You become hard when you got pride. He said the heart was hard with suit. Your pride. You act proudly.
Yes.
You were presumptuous. You were arrogant. You didn't think much of others. And you had a rebellious pride. It was a pride that was so rebellious. You're rebellious in your pride.
Yes.
Nobody, no, you're not telling me. And that's the way we are, nations.
Yes.
I don't care if it's me, if it's you, that's the way we are. That's why we have to be corralled, not every day, but every second.
Yes.
Every second. And when someone points out my faults or my shortcomings, you can do that all day long with me if you're with me. But we must recognize that there's something about me that is not right. I don't go and practice sin and wallow in no sin. I'm not. And once I see the fallacy of my ways, I repent. Then I'll harden my heart against you. And that's what he did. He said, you harden that spirit, hardened in pride. He was disposed from his kingly throne. And they took his wealth from him. And he was driven from the sons of men. What is the heart of a beast? Because it says, and his heart was made like the beast. When the world says he got a heart of a beast because he was bold, he was brazen. His heart was like the heart of a beast. There's nothing more violent against young than the heart of a beast. Because it's a heart that has been inundated with pride and arrogance, presumptuousness. One that is so arrogant they lift themselves above everyone, everything, and everybody. Your fault, your shortcoming. And that's the way this world is today. That's the way those that call themselves YisraYah'ale, that's the way they are this day as I speak. That's the way we are. That's the attitude. And you think I'm looking for some man to come up out of a body of water? I couldn't see him from here nowhere. In order for a man to rise up out of the sea here at Myrtle Beach, for us to see him here in the world to see him, I don't care if he was 1,000 miles tall, you couldn't see him. You couldn't see him in New York. But I can see me.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about seeing you. I can see me.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't care if he was 1,000 miles tall at Myrtle Beach. You may see the top of his head right here, 135 miles away. And that's just a fact. There's a man that's going to rise up out of us. He has already established his kingdom. Unless the kingdom pillars of Yah, which wisdom hew, are not the foundational strength of our walk. And it begins here as what the menorah speaks to us. His heart was made like the beast. Look where he dwelt. And his dwelling was among the wild asses. He did not dwell among the domesticated asses. His dwelling was among the wild asses.
Yes.
In my days, the parent would say, don't act like an ass. We will say, well, you cursing. Go to hell with your foolishness.
Yeah.
Just take your hellish ways. When I say go to hell, I mean, that doesn't even bother me.
Yeah.
That's the way people think. Can I inject something here right now? I'm going to do a teaching on the angry black woman, unquote. It's going to surprise you. See, your mind's already thinking. You already think you know, but you don't know. You don't even know what the book says.
Yeah.
I'll teach you. Don't worry about it. So you tell your neighbors, listen, look out for that newsletter, the angry black Hebrew woman. Mass.
Yeah.
Don't try to figure it out, because you can.
Yeah.
He ate like the wild asses, and he fed him with grass like oxen. And his body was wet, and the dew of the heavens. I'm so glad that that part is till, until. When he realized and recognized I'm a fool, I'm crazy. Till, until he yada, not yada, until he yada, until the Ruach of Yah communicated unto him, until the truth of him was made known, until, and that's the only way, that peace, kingdom power, it must be it must be made known, and once it's made known, it's going to cause this kind of transformation. It says till he knew. As the old woman would say, I know that, until he knew.
Yes.
Until he knew that he was ready to give up kingdom and all. Until he knew. Until he knew that the Most High Abaya is the one that rules. You don't rule down things.
Yeah.
Until he realized, until he heard down, he rules in the kingdoms of men, he rules in the kingdom of our affairs, until you understand and know that it is Yah that ruler. He sets up, he will bring you down. He destroys, he elevates, until you realize. We don't realize that. Until he knew that Yah the Most High Abba, he is the one that shallat, he is the one that rules, he is the one that have mastery over everything, nation. He is the one that has the supreme authority. He is the one that has the ruling authority. And so what he writes to us, as he wrote on the wall, Nebuchadnezzar, as he wrote there, he let him know that I'm the one that rules.
Yes.
You got to understand my writing.
Yeah.
When he realized that Yah rules in the kingdom, and that he appoints, listen to the latter part, and he appoints, he raises up, he establishes, he raises up or he appoints over it whosoever he will. Is that what he says?
Yes.
He appoints over his kingdom who he will. As the rivers of waters turn, so does Yah turn the heart of the king. So he appoints, he puts over it, whomever he chose to put over. If he chose to put a dog over because we're dogs, he's given this nasty nation just what she deserved, a dog. He gave the one before him a faggot lover. That's what he is, a faggot lover. Love faggots and pleasing faggots and bull daggers.
Yes.
More before him, who was that bullshit Clinton? Nothing but a whole dog of a dog, a dog of a dog, a dog of a dog.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Now he's a dog of a dog because he's never repented. And he's not going to repent. I don't give a damn what a man's sins have been or what a daughter's sins have been. He has repented. His record is just as pure as one that's like that little baby. So it makes no difference. So whomever he will, it's not your vote. Put him in power. That's why I leave it in Yah's hand. He puts over the kingdom through he will. Your votes puts nobody there. Because if this is not a crazy system in America, if this is not a crazy system, because you would not need but really 3 states to vote for: Ohio, New York, Florida 4, and Texas. You win them, you don't have to win nothing. You don't need South Carolina. You don't need North Carolina. That's a fact. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And you, his son, O Belshazzar, have not humbled your heart, though you knew all of this. You knew that Yah raised him up, and you still a devil. You saw Yah drive him out like a beast, and that's what he's doing. He's making known to us, nation, this Nahash, this beast. There is nothing like a beast. You can play with a dog all you want to, but he'll nip you. He'll lick in your mouth too. And that's just a fact.
Yes.
You're not going to play with Yah. And so that rises up out of who? This kind. Me. Because I'm arrogant, haughty, and I haven't seen the writing of this book and read and to understand what it says concerning me. It speaks to me only. And you can say the same thing about you. It speaks to me only. That's what this book does. And so there shall be one that shall stand, as Yochanan said, on the sands of the sea. I wanted to get a clear understanding, or give us that, this beast nature. Nebuchadnezzar was not a beast, but he was a beast. It's the heart of a man. Where you deny Yah and defy him, I don't care who it is, they're beastly, they're animalistic nation. Don't let nobody trick you on that. Don't have no respect of person, all right? Regardless of who it is. Now let's go back. I want to go back and listen to Revelation 13. When he said, I stood, I all night. I endured all the precious. I stood, and I stood, and I stood. I want to examine that just for a moment, all right? And then I want to deal with the sand of the sea, all right? But let me and see what it speaks and who it speaks to, who it speaks about. Is this one standing and seeing the nation of YisraYah'ale, the people of Yah? Or is this the world he's talking about? He's standing on the sand of the sea. What sand? What sea? Let me read this quickly. And I want us to understand this YisraYah'ale, Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Let's begin in Bereshit. Now, who is this? There are only about 12 places that this conjunction of words, I, the noun, and the verb stood throughout Scripture in the same capacity that's used. And it deals with one aspect. And so if he stood, the only way I can get understanding of that seat, its position, what it represents, I must understood. I stood. You understand that? See, that's how simple I am. I must go through the book and understand what the word I stood, or the combination of those two words are together. They must be together like that. I stood. It says in Bereshit, Genesis 41, verse 17. This is Joseph. When he interprets the dream, just like Dawid of Pharaoh, he interprets that there will be a dearth of death throughout the earth. Yet in the midst of all that, Yah will save his people. Look what he says, one verse. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, in my dream I stood. I stood. Yah appoints, Bereshit 41:17. Yah appoints kings. He makes leaders. He appoints whom he will. He said, I stood upon the sand. I stood upon the banks of the river. I stood. Pharaoh said to Joseph, I saw this great multitude. I saw this kind. As I stood, as I omad, I stood still. I need to understand what this is. I need for this to be made known. The old proverb, just shut your mouth and stand still. Just be quiet, in essence. You understand? He stood there because there was important value of what he had to wait there for and what that was about. It was a dream. And the dream needed to be interpreted. And the times that we are in, nation, men need to interpret, take that out of the book. They're not getting nothing from the heavens. The heavens are closed, nation. They're not healings like it was in the days of YHWH. It's not, because of the sin and our own corruption.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
And that's just a fact of the matter. That doesn't negate us praying one for another, but it just ain't not there. And these liars that say they're healing everyone, whereby there is nothing visible. It's all internal. And they're not even healing them. And that's just a fact. So Pharaoh said to Joseph, in my dream, behold, I stood. Because there was a people that Yah was going to save. And he wanted you to stand there, to stand and be still. And that's what we need to do, just stand for him, and be still and wait on the salvation of our Abba. And you notice where he stood on the banks of the river. That's quite important. And we'll understand the degree of that as we proceed. Quickly, Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 5. This is Moshe with the covenant of Korah. When Yah granted unto him to give him wisdom and to give the Brit unto the nation. It says in Deuteronomy 5:5, Moshe said, I stood between. That's what Pharaoh did. He stood between Yah and his people. The dream, he stood there. That's why he gave him the dream. Why? Because he had power, he had authority to make the provision for his people. Moshe said, I stood between Yah and you at that time, to declare unto you the word of Yahweh, for you were afraid by reason of the fire, and you went not up into the mount, saying you were too afraid to go. And so I stood, I stood firmly. I stood in the disposition that Yah, I will not lie to them, but I will be honest. I will tell them what you command me to tell them. And I'm the one that stood there. I'm the one that waited for the answer from Yah, because You were too intimidated, you were afraid. And there was only one that could stand for us in that moment. And there is only one that stands for us today. That's Yahshua HaMashiach. There is no other one. Not at all. Verse 6 of the same chapter, Yah says, I am Yah your Abba, which brought you out of the land of YHWH, and from the bed of bondage of Shabbat. I'm the one that brought you out of slavery. And Yahshua is the one that brought us out of the slave of sin. But we were bound to the shackles of sin and every kind of corrupt defiance of Torah. He is the only one. He is the only one that brought us out of the bondage and the shackles of all of our sins, nation. Someone, as the old ones would say, someone must stand in the gap. And he is the one Moshe stood in the gap. And although Pharaoh was a man that was evil, yet in that house where Yosef was sold, Yah had prepared him, raised him up, that his people, his elect, as the sand of the sea, they would have a place, and there would be provision made for them. Quickly, let me move. And this is the prophet Jeremiah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
The prophet, the name Jeremiah, he appeals to Yah. You know, I find this, what I am about to read, so intriguing. You know, we don't know what a true prophet is. We don't know what a true messenger is. Let me read what he says here in Jeremiah 18:20. He asks us this question. Yah has been taught to us, has he not?
Hallelujah.
He has been kind to us.
Hallelujah.
I don't care what our condition is today.
Yes.
You awaken us.
Hallelujah.
I don't care what my pains are here and there and there. You awaken us this morning.
Hallelujah.
I'm glad to be alive.
Yeshua.
I said to my wife, we went out on Thursday, and it was hard to purchase those panels. And that air conditioner wasn't working right there, talking. I said, just open the door and couldn't roll down that window. It's on the way back, you know, I think, and I say, you know, one day, even if I fear, as the tears overflow my eyes, I say, you know, one day, one of us will wake up, and the other one will not be there. I did it in reality, and that's just a fact. And it just overwhelmed me. And my prayer was, Yah, let her be the one that wakes up. You'll be all right. Hallelujah. Let me read this. This is what the prophet says. Jeremiah 18:20. He says, shall evil repay fatal? Yah's taught us. Shall we be evil toward him? Should we continue in our evil ways?
No.
If someone is kind to you, you're going to be evil to them. Huh? Shall we do that? He said, for they have dug a pit for my nefesh. They're trying to kill the messenger. They have dug a pit. Remember that I stood. They didn't stand. This is with the house of YisraYah'ale. And so we think that all these nuances or all these proverbs in Torah has to deal with the evil of the world. It's dealing with no one but one people. Everything in Revelation deals with one people. And out of that sea shall come a hellish, the attack of Yahshua come from the Romans of those that were Romanized. And I wanted to be like that when they, in the house of Israel, every prophet was killed by those of his own. A prophet has honor in every country, but those that whereby he was born with it, they are of his same nature, the same kind. I'm not worried about Esau. I'm not worried about the evil men. I'm worried about the people of Israel and the evil that we purport and the evil that we do.
Yes.
That's what I'm worried about. And I'm not really worried about it, but that's where it all comes from. It doesn't come from some stranger. Our evil comes from among. Look at this. He says, remember I stood before you, and these same people have done the best to kill me. They don't care. There is no concern for me, yeah? He said, I stood before you, Yah, to speak tough for them. I'm the one that stood before you. And I said, Yah, don't kill them. Although they're deserving, yet they have dug a pit from me because of my words and what I say. And they turn away your wrath from them. I stood before you, don't kill them, Yah. Give them a reprieve. Then he says this in verse 21. Therefore deliver up their children to death, for there will be no life in them, no love for Yah. When Yah speaks to your nation, you don't do what is right, your sons, your daughters, they're going to be delivered up to famine. And that's just a fact. He said, deliver them up to famine. And he said, and pour out their blood by force. And the story to kill them all. This is a prophet, is he not? Is he an Obi? Yes. He's praying this prayer to Yah. This is not a prophet in our determination of what a prophet is, all right? At our determination, this is not an Obi. He may be a prophet to you, but he's not an Obi. He said, I want you to kill the children. Make them starve to death, Yah. These are evil dogs. They are beasts. I'm the same one that fed them the bread of your kindness, and they turned to bite my. That's what a dog would do. A dog will snap at the owner. He can get aggressive with the owner. He wants, I don't care if it's that big or that big.
Yes.
It makes no difference. He said, I stood in the gate for these dogs, these beasts. I've been kind to them. And they dug a ditch to kill me. Because I speak your truth. That's the nation and the people of Yah today. He said, kill them all. Kill the babies. He said, not only that, take the sword and cut them up. And he said, let their wives be bereaved of their children. Let them cry. Let them cry the tears of agony. Because the children have been butchered before them. He said, and be widowed. They will have no husband. And let their men, he said, kill all of them. Let their men be put to death. Kill them all. Let their young men be destroyed, killed by the sword in battle. Send them all out. They're trying to establish their reputation. Let the gangbangers kill them all. That's what he is saying. You may not want to hear that. He said, kill these beasts. He's dealing with a beastly mindset, a beast.
Yes. One
that doesn't care about Yah, and one that rejects Almighty Yahweh and rejects Yeshua. You can get upset all you want to. It's not going to change anything. He said, kill them all. Kill their bastards that they produce, and kill the little whores, because they're nothing but dirty sluts, and having babies. They're doing it anyway, are they not?
True.
They're poor babies. The women that, when you look at your skin color, they look just like you. They're killing babies by the millions. And your damn prayer hasn't done one thing. They're producing whore daughters to whore. They're making babies to turn them into whore. They're producing sons for the gods. They're producing sons for the gods. They're raising them to be killed.
Yes.
They're raising them to have an attitude. And that's the fact of the matter. Because where's the no good damnable pappy mappy? There's no damn where to be found. I will not give honor to anything like that. I will not. I don't give a damn who it is.
Yes.
Not to my sisters, children, any of them. I don't give no honor to that. I know no child. I will not do a child wrong. But I'm not going to esteem that kind of doggish lies and evilness in this world today.
Yes.
You can. I will not. And that's the fact. He said, let them be put to death. Look at this. No one is missing. He said, let the young men. These are young men. He's, how old is he? How old is he? How old is he? Yo! How old is he? 10. He got 3 years, he'll be a man. He's a young man. He said, kill them all. He said, let the young men be slain. Kill them in battle. They're trying to battle for reputation. Kill them all. They're trying to express someone to be of great magnitude. Kill them all. And their sons his age are dying in battle. I was talking with the UPS driver. I said, man, come on now. The only thing we know about police killing people are what they want to bring to focus and get the people around. I said, but last year there were 300 plus people killed by police last year. So that's almost one a day. You don't hear about that one guy killed in a little town out there in New Mexico. You don't hear about that one guy killed there in a little old town of Mena, Arkansas. You don't hear that one got shot by the state patrol right there in them hills of California. That's crazy. There are over 200 some deaths in California. I got to check the statistics of that again. Every day, killings and death. Every single day. Somebody's down out there. Before I finish preaching in a day, 10 people will be dead in Cali. It's not just gangbanging. It's the drunk wife that shoot the husband in the head. It's the husband come on, kill the wife and the babies. You hear about that? That men kill their wives every day, and wives kill their husbands. This is how stupid we are. Their mothers kill their sons. Sons kill their mother. They're high profile. When they're trying to get some kind of journalistic, you found one little murder, and that was a murder that just took place just now. And they promote that. You hear about that? What? That boy killed his mother. They've always killed their mothers. That's something new, silly people. We're crazy. Hallelujah. It says, let a cry be heard from their houses. This is Yah's people. It's going to be heard from, just like the cry in Mizraim, it's going to be heard from the houses in this time. From the houses. When you shall bring a troop suddenly upon them. Why? Because they have dug a pit for me. This is the prophet talking, the North. He said, because they want to destroy the messengers. There are those that think because they don't give, there are those that will give tremendously here. They all stop. That's going to destroy God's messenger. But it's not going to destroy the message.
Hallelujah.
There are those that are listening will not send a nickel because they don't like what I say. And at one time they did. They're cowards. Prove me wrong in the book. Show me where I'm wrong. Show me. They can't do it. They can't do it. You have dug a pit for me. And he said, not only that in verse 22, and he had snares. You are so sneaky. You're trying to draw me in. You won't even warn me. You know and you know. And all of you knew what he was about to do. And nobody even told me. You know that. I've seen other years how they were congregating. Loud. They're gonna, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'd rather be doing just like I'm doing out there in the hot sun, and you doing the way you're doing. I'd rather take my place here.
Yahweh.
You got yours, then you do well there, all right?
Yes.
I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
Is that thing close up? The castle? Okay. Yet Yahweh you know, verse 23. He said, yet Almighty Yahweh you know all their you know all their counsel. How they get together, they counsel with each other, they talk against me to kill me. Why would you want to kill an only like that? Why would you want, that's the way it is today. That's the spirit of Nahash. I prove it out to us, all right? That's what that spirit does. It hates anything that opposes them. Their arrogance, their pride. And we are people that we like to play it on with smirking and laughter. I don't laugh much. And I don't play. I don't like playing. I don't like the silly look. And that's just me. We must be sober. We as elderly men, all of us, everything about us must be sober, diligent, and vigilant. And that's just a fact. Listen to what he says. He said, they want to kill me. There's a colon there, isn't it? They want to kill me. He says, forgive not. It takes a righteous man to pray that prayer. He's not going to forgive us in this beast time. He said, forgive not their iniquity. They haven't just sinned. They've committed all thee. He said, don't forgive them. I'm praying this to you, God. Kill them all. Kill their babies. Kill the sucklings. Destroy them all. I know you don't want to read that, but it's there.
Yeah.
He said, don't even forgive them. He said, forgive them not of their iniquity. He said, neither macha, don't even blot, don't even obliterate or exterminate. He says, neither blot out their sins from your sight. Don't even take away. Let the sins come before you daily. And let the sin. He stood there. Yaakov stood there to see the magnitude of the sin of this people that he stood upon. Approve it. Approve it.
Yes.
Book will. He said, don't forgive them. Don't forgive them. He said, even their sins from your sight, and let them be overthrown before you. And this is the catalyst here. There's a semicolon right there. He said, no, yeah, I'm not, I didn't hold my breath on this. I want you to hear it all, but I just want to take me a pause. He said, not only that, he said, deal with them in the time of your act. He said, I want you to deal with them in the time of your forgiveness and kindness. I want you to kill them all.
Yes.
See, we don't think that this is in the book, that a messenger prayed that way. So when people see me, I was saying to myself, and it's amazing what we think of anger. And how when people see me get angry, if I get angry, well, he's not a righteous man. How righteous are you, devil?
Yeah.
Well, he sure was angry. I was. Don't apologize either. That's why I'm going to teach on the angry black Hebrew woman, all right? You don't understand what I'm saying. Don't try to figure it out. Just say, yeah, listen. I know there will be wisdom when he teaches you. Stop it, okay? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. He said, kill them all. Take them out because they're beasts. They're going to turn to ravish you again.
Yes.
They're going to turn against you in deep, deep resistance. And that's what we do. How do I know we turn against him? Because if I turn against him, if I turn against him, I'm turning against. We are the body of YHWH. If I do him wrong, I do him wrong, I do him wrong. And that's how I'm doing the body.
Yes.
I know that for a fact. You understand?
Yes.
And that's just a fact.
Yes.
He said, kill them all. Kill them all. Don't let them live. For you have to train them in the ways of Yah. Teach them. Show them. And instruct them. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
I don't care how you train a dog, he's going to always mess up on you. I've had too many. And I've had them to snap. But they don't realize that I snap harder. I snap much harder than a rock bottom. I will break your neck, dog. I feed you. Yah feeds us, and this knowledge is going to work good. Quickly. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
I want to stop there because I want to spend at least an hour on this. It's 105, all right?
Yeah.
This is what the prophet says. He says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea. You can never understand where he stood unless we go back to the VIII and understand that verbology, verbs, what he meant. I want to begin here. In VIII, Genesis 22:17. We're going to identify where he stood, all right? Let's go to that Genesis VIII. And I want to move somewhat, 9 pages. Okay, I got enough to finish this. Let's go to VIII, all right? I got enough. VIII, Genesis 22:17. This is when the covenant or the brit was renewed with Abraham, with Yah. This is what Yah says. Yah says, because of you, my son, that in blessing, verse 17, Genesis 22:17, he said that in blessing I will barach, I will bless you. Not only that, but I will raba'ah, I will multiply, and I will multiply your zerah, I will make it strong, I will make it with numerics and numbers and height. And I will multiply your seed as the stars of the heaven. Do you understand that? He said that is the volume of your seed. And he said, and not only that, and as the sand which is upon the sea, on the Yah, or the seashore. We can see where the king stood upon the river, on the shore of the river, and we can see where the prophet here, where Yah says he's going to identify us as the sand of the sea. All right, and we can see where the Nobi or the Yochanan, where he stood upon the sand of the sea. He was not just standing at the sea nation, and yet he stood in the sea, but it represented more than the sea. That's why Yah made him to make sure that every word was incorporated so that we will understand. He said he stood on the sand, upon the sand of the seashore. And your seed, that's what he said now, and your zerah shall yarash. That's the covenant of Yahweh with YisraYah'ale. That's why there are people say we are the true seed because we possess. We are the one that possess. We are the one that own. That's why I'm not talking about these lions of 2019. 15 years ago they were strong. Yet they're 2020, then year 2000 come to pass. They're falling off like weak little ducklings. 2000, 2000, spaceships coming, they're going to rapture us up. I say, you are so stupid. That's how they were talking. Go back. I know what I'm saying, nation, all right? And all these Hebrew Israelites were telling you that their leaders, you don't hear nobody saying anything. You go to the internet, you can go to YouTube and search for teachings on the year 2019. The only thing you're going to get is this. You might have someone getting up there rambling and trying to put something cohesive together, about 15, 20 minutes. But this is a dialogue of 62 teachings. I began last year. And it's all dealing with 2019. It's dealing with the people of Yah's heritage in Laika. I haven't taught on Mizraim because I got over 100, 200 pages just on that teaching. I have a chance.
Yeah.
And this is the year of repatriation. 1619, they don't even understand that. And yet the gullible by that, I deal with our sins and our corruption. I deal with the beast spirit and the nature of Satan. You don't love me for that. You don't love me for that. You don't care for me for that. You don't want to listen to me. You want to lie, you speak to your small things. You want someone to lie to you and tell you you're nice because you gave $1,000. It doesn't mean a damn thing to Yah. Your $1,000, your $2, your $50 doesn't build the kingdom. It's His truth that builds His kingdom. I don't care what you give or what you're given. It is not what builds the kingdom construct. And they want things to go their way. You will go to hell in a handbasket because I will go the way of what the book says. I will not go your way. I don't give a damn if you don't love me. You don't support me. I'm no one to support. I got food to eat. I can eat me some fried chicken tonight if I want to. Who knows? Fry me some salmon. Who doesn't like that? Yeah, I like fried chicken. I like the fried chicken wings. How about that? Hallelujah. He identified, and nowhere Torah nation, listen. When Yah talks about the sands of the sea, he talks about a group coming against the people of YisraYah'ale in few places. I have searched every dynamic. And he said, they will come upon you all like the sand of the sea. In essence, you will not be able to number them. You're going to be so terrified because you're not obeying me, you will not be able to number them. He says, you shall possess the gates of your enemy. That's what we shall possess. We shall yarash. You're not going to dispose of anyone by marching, getting on the corner every weekend, talking about Esau and the white devil and all that bogus. You're going to do it by learning how to love each other and starting something in a rat hole like New York. You don't have enough money to do it, or New Jersey. You can't buy the buildings there because they cost too much, because you want to live lifestyles that are so corrupt and evil with wives. What would it be like? I call myself 3 or 4 wives living here and living off the pay of the people that give. That's a dirty bastard. That's a dirty bastard. That's a dirty dog. That's an insistent dirty bastard. And these damn devils, I'm calling them damn devils, saying, you will go to hell if you tell me. Don't use that language. I will. They are taking Yah's people that are gullible. They're dumb as hell, and they're taking advantage of them. And they have 3 or 4 women in the house here and 1 or 2 over there, and call them their wives. And they will not say a damn thing, but they will say it's all right to have more than 1 wife. But they don't preach about it because they're cowards. Expose it. Make it known. Bring all your women. Dirty dogs. It shows more than I can ever want or need. Don't need but one. Don't need but one. Period. And these dirty bastards are doing that. They're living in communities like this. One particular, Dawid there. I'm not going to stop calling Bishop Yahweh's name. He's a dirty bastard. I got 5 wives. He doesn't have what he does, and not they may not want one. And I walk around here with 5 women. That's stupid. That's a pimp prayer to me. If that is not so insane, y'all show man with all your harshness, I would, with 1,000 shalom, will you still not going to be happy? And that's a fact. That's a fact. Gives a man a special thing in a wife. You angry black women, Hebrew black women, don't worry about it. Don't. See? Let me move on, all right? All right, you see that? This is the promise of Yah. Better see Genesis 32:11. This is the prayer of Yaakov. His earliest prayer unto Yah. We're dealing with the sand of the sea, all right? Who is that statement directed toward? Genesis 32:11, it says, this is his prayer. As he prepares himself to offer up unto Esau, don't kill me, brother. He asks Yah, deliver me, I pray you, from the hands of my brother, and from the hands of Esau. For I fear him, lest he will come and destroy me, smite me, the mother with the sons. Then he reminded Yah, and you said, I will surely do you right, and I will make your seed as the sand, the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. You promised me that, and I stood upon a nation of people as the sand of the sea, and I saw this powerful demonic expression rise up out of them of all the tough things that Yah has done for them. You'll understand the 7 horns, or the 10 horns, and the 10 crowns. Don't worry, I got it for us, all right? I know what I'm saying. And I watch, you said that, Yah, and I hold you to that. Because if he kills me, it cannot be. It will not be, and it cannot be. I must. Well, look how he identifies in Revelation 13:1, he said, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, right? That's what he says, right? And I stood upon the sand of the sea. Jacob says the same thing here. You said you will make your seed as the sand of the sea. Is that the same phraseology? Same, isn't it? He's talking about a people and a kind and one of a kind. You can take a hand of sand and throw it over there. You can't tell what you pull out of that palm from the other. That's what YisraYah'ale is. And the number of them fools cannot be numbered. Because of the multitude of their power and their nature, they can't be numbered. Moving on quickly to verse 4, chapter 41. Let me read that quickly. Chapter 41, 49. This is Yosef. This is Yosef. He knew that there was a famine because He was the only one that could interpret the dream of Pharaoh. Did Pharaoh say, I stood? He said that on the banks of the river. That's what he said, didn't he? And I stood. And this is what Joseph said. This is what Yah says. He says in Bereshit 41:49, and Joseph gathered corn. And Joseph gathered corn. He gathered corn. How? As the sand of the sea. He's going to gather his people. Just like he gathered the corn as the sand of the sea. Not just a little, very much. Until it was so much, he stopped numbering, for it was without number. Did not Jacob say in Genesis 32:12 that he cannot, or they cannot be numbered? There were too many because of numbering and multitude. And he gathered the corn as the sand of the sea. And there was such a great influx, and so much that he stopped numbering, because he could not count them. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a nature rise up against the one that had been taught to them, had brought them, had fed them, had done. This is not coming from the world. This is coming out of his nation, out of his people. And you got these fools out here trying to interpret this by their own ignorance, saying that a spirit is talking to them, and they carry that to some of the young ignorant individuals, and they all will say, yeah, that I'll be that. I know the Lord said that. You're right, you damn dog of the Lord, you faggot white boy Jesus. He told you that. That's what he is. These are the same ones that will say that all people of the Caucasian hue are sons of Esau. Ask them this question. A man blacker than me, he takes a woman, he produced 22 sons. I know it's extreme, but let me show you. He produced 22 sons, all right? Just say that there are men, my hue, that they don't want to deal with another woman but a Caucasian woman. Can I make you an analogy? And he produced over the broad spectrum of 8, 9 women, he produced 30 sons. You'd be surprised. There are a lot of them. The man who sold us this land right here, the man who sold us this land, the man who sold us this land, Mr. C, you know how many children he had? He had 27 children. He was a big man. He was strong looking. He had money back in there. He would go to Johnson C. Smith and he put many babies in those young women. You understand? 27. He said, I got 27 children. This old man, Mr. Miller, take that. You said, this old man was crazy, but he made money. He said, boy, I got 22 children. That man of my hue produced, over the span of 8 women, make it 10. He put 2 in each one of them, that's 20. His genetic type, and they all came out just as white as a white sheep. Curly hair. Daddy never played a part in their life. I'm just showing you an example. How stupid this world, how it talks, son. Use their analogy. Those sons go, all those sons go marry white gals. And they all produce babies, and they look more whiter than he looks. By your doctrine, they're Hebrew Israelites. But how would you know if you just looked at them? How would you discern they're Hebrew Israelites? Now, the daddy was black as me. His forefathers came on the slave ships of Africa. We talk about here in America. He dispensed 20 youngins by 10 different white women. Every last one of those white boys grew up and married white gals. And all of them put 4 or 5 boys at each one of them white gals. And them white boys go and marry some more white gals, and they put babies. And those babies are like, this is such a stupid concept. They can't answer that one. because nobody knows how to answer them.
Yes.
I can tell you how many people it took 2,000 years ago on mama's side and daddy's side to bring me here at my age now. It took over 250,000 people. That's how, had to be a man and a woman, right? Had to be a man and a woman. It took 250,000. There is no way, as the gates of hell are wide, you can tell me your lineage. You are a fat out dirty liar. You don't even know what tribe. You are a filthy, dirty, evil liar.
Yes.
You are a damnable liar. I don't take nothing back.
Hallelujah.
It took 250,000. I got the diagram. I've sit down for hours and figured it out. I got the charts. And I went back 2,000 years, making a generation 50 years. You will go to hell with your lies.
Hallelujah.
See, people don't like that. How can one in Cuba, Puerto Rico, whiter than white? Those babies, or that lineage was not started by some slave going over there and going into the Spanish women or white gals. It was started by Spaniards. That was their part of a little new world. I'm just saying these concepts are stupid. You're not going to tell me, oh, there's some Mexican blacker than you. You're not going to tell me the vast population of Brazil, the people are lighter than you and you. They're lighter than him. They may have started with an African black mama, but them babies come by one of those Spaniards or white boy. In Cuba they came that way. In Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Now the island state, nobody wants to look dark as me. Nobody. Nobody from the Dominican Republic. They don't want to look like that. They spit on darkness. Well, I don't spit it, I embrace it.
Yeah.
I know I'm getting off track, but I'm on track, all right?
Yeah.
I said to my Yeshua, that was the best thing our brother said to me when he came. You dark, you get dark. Ah, like that. No, I am. I need what I had now. I want to get dark. You're all such evil, you don't embrace everything about it.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of what I look like.
Hallelujah.
Hell, I could have got my teeth fixed. I've had the money to do that, I wouldn't do it. I could have gotten capped all of it. I spent $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 on my knife. I will not do it. The cap is going to be there when I die. I'm not ashamed of it. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I'm not off track, okay? I'm on his track.
Bless you.
Hallelujah. Let's go to Father, all right? He stopped. Let's go to Jubilees quickly. Jubilees chapter 13:20. I'm going to go there quickly. This is when Avram leaves Haran. When Yah commanded him to go into the land of Canaan. That was Yah's instruction. He says in Jubilees 13:20, for all the land which you see, this is what Yah says to Avram, I will give you and your seed. All the land that he saw, it's not temporarily. He said, I will give that li'olam forever. And I will make your seed the only people that he has ever made. And I stood upon the sands of the sea. This is the only people he has ever made. He says, and I will bara, I will create, I will make your people as the sand of the sea. Is that what Yochanan said?
Yes.
I will make your seed as the sand of the sea. Well, he's speaking in a language that's not precise enough. You're a liar. That's no metaphor there.
Yeah.
You know how much sand is on the sea. No more than you know the total or the totality of what Yah has created.
Right.
You don't know that. In essence, he said, you will never be without one of your kind. You will never, I don't care what part of the world you go, You will know them that are yours. This is how you're going to know. They're going to bear the same fruit as Yahshua. I will make your seed as the sand of the sea. Though a man may number the dust of the earth. Do you all hear that? Yeah. I don't know. Nobody can number the dust of the earth. In essence, he is saying that if you can go to dust in China and go to the dust in Rocky Mountain and tell me the difference of the dust, that's what he is saying. He said, though a man may number the dust of the earth, yet your seed shall not be numbered. You're going to tell me that all of the seed is right here in the Americas? Go to hell, all of you.
Yeah.
He made the rainbow of colors. And out of his nation comes the rainbow of colors. And that's just a fact. We all got different hues. Hell, there ain't much between his hue and his hue. And the only reason he's darker now, wait till the winter comes. He's out of the sun. His daddy is just as big and bold, big as I am. It's crazy. People about that foolishness. Well, they're going to call me everything. That's what they do. It's all right by me because they're not doing anything. But on YouTube talking. Listen to this. He said, your seed shall not be numbered. Am I correct in what that says in Jubilees 30?
Yeah.
Did he say your seed can't be numbered, shall not be numbered? That shall not be a number. No more than you're going to be able to put a number on y'all's people. 666. You're not going to be able to put that number of Nachash upon them. He says, arise, I want you to walk. I want you to walk through the land. I want you to walk the length of it and the breadth of it. I want you to see everything. That's some walking. But he had time. Give him 5 years to walk through it. He can walk through it. He said, for to your seed will I give it. What do you mean, y'all? He tells him, will I give it as a covenant? And as the sand that is on the sea shore. That's what he says, isn't that what he says?
Yeah.
That's exactly what he said. Was Moshe the most wisest man upon the face of the earth? Was anyone any wiser than Moshe? I mean, than Shlomo? Anyone wiser than Shlomo? No. And the wisdom of Shlomo was beyond our understanding. Because, listen to this quickly, because it says in 1 Kings 4:30. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And Shlomo's wisdom exceeded the wisdom of all the children of the east and all the wisdom of Israel. Do you understand that? He had so much wisdom that all the people of Israel, all the wisdom together, cannot exceed him. And all the children of the east. And we know who's in the east. China's in the east. All of his wisdom exceeded all of them. That's just a fact. And so as Yah's people have the sand of the sea, you're not going to be able to number them. You can't put no number on them. You can spend the year, I figured it out one day. Just people saying you have to have a mark in your hand. Well, that's what the Torah says, but I understand what the Torah says. Or in your forehead. 24/7, how do you get down into the depths of Brunei? How do you get into the depths of the border of Ethiopia? What kind of system? What kind of line? If the power is down, how do you do it? What's someone in a poor country? You go get a chip in the head because they can't buy a sale. Well, they can't even buy a sale now. You know, it's just the stupidity of their ignorance is insane. You're not going to be able to buy truth. No one's going to redeem you. Nobody's going to go on the limb for you. That's just the fact that Yahshua has done it, and we are spat on Yah. It's not going to happen. This is more than this stupidity. What people are telling you, go put you some food and stuff up, and you got, that's so nice. You got a little bit of food and some cans, and you got it put up, and you think that's enough? You are silly. You got a little bottle of water in the dirt of such violence, of heat and all of that. You got to drink some water and stay alive. You got some bottled water, you think, listen, I love that osmosis system. But I tell you what, there's one thing I don't like about the water once that process. You can't just store that for months because it would rot like a dog's rot, puke. You got to drink it. That's what it's meant for. To drink. You know, baby, put some in a container. It will turn brown, it will turn rotten. Because it has infused all the fight. It has taken everything out of the water that is essential and important. I said just many years ago that when they had the Olympics in Lake Placid, that the water was so pure that if you drank the water, it will pull your teeth out. If you had, it will pull it out. What are you going to do? This is crazy. We've got to drink from the living well, the fountain that we've been taught.
Yeah.
You put back all the water you want to, crazy people. There's nothing more damaging to our health than the plastic that these cheap China things are made out of. And yet people, brother, I see that is so nice. You got those cans, you got some buckets out there, you all on YouTube. Let everybody know you got that, huh? That's so stupid. Now, it was one that stood, and he saw the vision coming. And although he was a wicked man, Yah set him in that place. He set him in that place. He set him in that place. He caused him to come to power for his people. And out of that, he sent a deliverer in the midst, in that place. And when he was killing everybody, Moshe's mother said, put him in the water. The daughter's out there. Put him in the water. And she took him in and embraced him for the deliverance of his people. And when he realized that was his zirah out there, he left it all. He chose rather to suffer with them than enjoy sin for a season. You dirty dogs that say you love you, false fake leaders, you're not giving up one damn thing for any kind of love for anyone. You're selfish, you're greedy. You got your place and your place is nice. And you take every dime from the young women of Zion who's trying and robbed you, rob them of their innocence. You take away from them, you dirty fat dog from hell. That's what they do. Only the ones that fit that description will get mad. You rob a man of his strength, rape his daughter, and say she's your wife, you dirty bastard.
Yeah.
I don't take nothing back. And don't tell me it's just a small multitude. There's many folks that do in that nation. When they're white or black, they're all doing the same thing. Don't just think they're doing that. Hallelujah. Quickly. Let's go to Hosea, quickly. Hosea. I want to finish this, but I want to get to it. If you don't get it all, just go back and listen again. But as by and by, you'll get it all because I'm going to be teaching from this for a while. Look at this in Hosea. There's a nation, this nation right here. This is a nation of YHWH's kingdom rule right here. We are.
Yes.
Yet we have espoused unto ourselves a hallowed fervor of design. Nahash, beastly. Yah says to this man, go take a whore for your wife. YHWH. He has taken a dirty, slutty hoe for his wife. We're not faithful. We don't love him. We sneak around. We do evil stuff. But look what it says in Hosea 1:8. After she had weaned, Lo Ruchama, the one that had no kindness. That's what Lo Ruchama means. No kindness. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. She conceived, she bare a son. Then Yah says, call his name Lo-Ami, to imply these are not my people. That's what Lo-Ami means, not my people. For you are not my people, and I will not be your Abba. Look what he says here now. Yet the number of the children of YisraYah'ale shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or neither far. They cannot be numbered, they cannot be marked totally. That's what that means, Safar. You cannot mark them. And every man shall caused to take the mark of the beast, but Sapphire says without mark, or there's no record of them. They cannot be numbered. That's why we have to do forensics, nation. They cannot be numbered, or there can be no inscription upon them. That's what I'm not making up to definitive. Yah put it there, but he knew we would be lazy and we will not take time. We can buy honey buns and donuts and cut nuts and everything. Can't can it all. When it comes to Yah, to be proficient, making sure your shield is polished and your sword is sharp. We don't want to do that. We don't have time for him. But yet we're all instructors and we're all teachers. We know how to teach everybody. That's not so. You're not going to teach me. You're not coming here to teach us nothing.
Hallelujah.
You come and sit down and then maybe you can testify to me. All right? Hallelujah. Yah says, you're not my people. In verse 10, you're not my people. There it shall be said to them, you are the sons of the living Yah. He's going to, this is the only thing that's going to restore us truth. That's the only thing that's going to restore us truth.
Yes.
You must get the truth about you, all right?
Yes.
You must know you. You must know you're dirty and you're lying, you're cheap. I know that about me. And that's a fact. Verse 11. Then shall the children of Yehudah and the children of YisraYah'ale, they're going to be gathered together and appoint themselves one head. One head. Yoshua. There shall be one head, one rosh. And they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of YisraYah'ale. Great shall be the day of YisraYah'ale. Yah is the one that sows. He is the one that has sown the zerah among the nation. He is the one that has sown the zerah among the nation. I was thinking this morning, I said, wow, you know, I looked at the corn the other day and that rock phosphate. I didn't put a lot, but we put about a nice big tablespoon and all working in. And they say, because the soil up there, you just can't grow in dirt because it's dirt. Because it's black, it's red, that doesn't mean it's going to grow. It doesn't mean it has all the micro and the macros and everything you need for something to grow. And I learn every day, and I'm always teaching. I've been learning this morning, and sometimes I shouldn't do that, but I do it. So what is it going to take? So I did. I remember we went up there to get that fertilizer, that organic fertilizer up there in Virginia. I said, let me see. Because I need some of that rock phosphate. Because I remember when I used that Tennessee phosphate, when I was growing, it did well. As I got the orders out. So I went to that place, I said, well, if I get enough to really do it, it's going to cost. And so, I said, we can afford to send Zaki, Wasadaka, pick that up. So I go online and I put all these bags in the car. It's so cheap now to have all that shipped, it's pathetic. I said, I can't wait after the SHABBAT because I'm going to order that this evening. We didn't have the money per se, the money. But someone sent a tremendous offering this morning. I said, oh my. I was telling my issue. I said, use that. And that's how we're going to get that one because it needs those minerals in the soil. You got to have that. And we have to have the nutrients of this truth in our heart. Yes. And that's what we got to eat on. Live on. And that's just a fact, nation. We got to get all the ingredients of this life. We just can't get a little bit of it, a part of it. We got to get it all. Feed me. Feed me. If nothing else, people say that verbiage until I won't no more. Sinners will come in the whole house. I want to be fed. Just feed me. Feed me. Yeah, then I won't. Yeah. You know I'm telling the truth.
Yes.
I haven't been around for a long time, but I've been around a long time. And that's a fact. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Well, do they speak in the same language? The Brit Hadassah, quickly look what Yahweh says in Romans chapter 9, verse 27. This is what he speaks to us. He says in Romans 9, 27, Yahweh also cried concerning YisraYah'ale. This is what he said. Though the number of the children of YisraYah'ale be as the sand of the sea, he talks about a katalima, a remnant. He's going to preserve, shall be inherit. Although the sea be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant. This is consistent from Revelation to Bereshit, the Jubilees. He's not talking about nation. And if you go search out the verbiage of those words, you will not see that in any capacity whereby he utilized sand sea of a people, nowhere but in places, but the opposition of YisraYah'ale. Say they're going to come upon you, you're going to fear, they're going to kill you. Why? Because you have not embraced my love toward you all. You have not embraced what I've done for you. You have not embraced that. And so that's the way. Though we be at the sand of the sea, there's going to be a ba'or, or a remnant of his people that shall be saved. And this is what he's talking about in Yeshaya or Isaiah chapter 10:22. Chapter 10:22. For though your people YisraYah'ale be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant, a sha'ah, there will be a residue left over. A remnant of them shall return, and their number decrease, yet overflowing with righteousness.
Yeah.
He's going to have his people. You can name all of the Hebrew Israelites. You don't know where they are. And you're a liar to say that. You'll go to the beach, everybody dig a hole, and then foot deep, put a penny there, and go back tomorrow and find it. Coming back up, you will never find it. Unless you got a meter reader. Oh, I know exactly what it is. I'm going to put a mark right here where I know it. Put a mark there. Put a mark. See if you find it. You're not going to find it. This world doesn't know who YisraYah'ale is. I was looking yesterday, and it's just not as true. I'm looking. And there are things that you look, and the stupidity of people, how they think they have understanding of what's in the book. I say, wow, this is a stupid world. It's beyond stupid. It's sad. That's why we got to save ourselves, nation.
Yes.
From this generation of evildoers. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
This is back to Jubilees quickly. I want to go to Jubilees and Yasha. And I'm going to close with that. I'm wise. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Jubilees 1922. This is when Sarah, she had died in Hebron. Let your hands be strong. Let your love rejoice in your sons, Yaakov. She's dead. She's gone. Let your hands be strong. For I have loved you, Abraham. For I have loved you far more. Look what he says. For I have loved him far beyond all my sons. He loved them greater. He shall be blessed forever. And his seed shall fill. You'll see that. Does it say whole earth?
Yes. Whole earth.
It's going to fill the whole earth. The seed's not going to just fill the Americas. Few islands in the sea. The thousands. There's 6,000 islands just make up the island of Indonesia. There are 6,000 islands. There are 5,000 islands that make up the Philippines. One little island. His seed shall, his seed, Yasi shall fill the whole, WHOLE, the whole earth. How is this the whole earth, my friends? You got the scholars of the Hebrew Israelite doctrine. I have no problem with the Hebrew Israelite doctrine because I believe it. But I don't believe the lies of these liars. They call themselves with their preposterous lies and telling lies to the people and giving them a fake reality of truth. But they're saying it's not the Hebrew Israelite doctrine. This is Hebrew Israelite doctrine. For his people shall feel, they shall feel the whole earth. He did not say part of the earth, and you can't explain that. How do you explain that? If you bring a glass to me it's full of water, you say it's full and it's running over. You can't explain that. It's self-explanatory. It's running over. You can't put no more in it. But y'all said the whole earth is not South Carolina.
Yes.
It's not China. It's not Russia. It's not Africa. He said the whole.
Yes.
It's not North America, South America. It's not Brazil. It's not Puerto Rico. It's not Cuba. That's just a fact.
Hallelujah.
Those men that will bring those women over on slave ship, they will put baby after baby after baby. They lust some of those ships. That's going to be part of my teaching on tabernacle. You're going to learn some things. I got about 300 pages just on that. I just can't teach it all. I can show it to you. I'm not just talking. I don't sit twiddling my fingers and sleeping. I went to bed last night at 8:30, 4 a.m. this morning. I couldn't. It was 3 something. I'm trying to make myself sleep, but I can't sleep. At that time hit, I have to get up. And so I rarely sit down where I can sleep to 5, 6. So you all think sometime in the, well, not sometime, it is Shabbat. I go out. Well, you all don't see me because this person here doesn't wake me up. She'll get up and she'll leave. And I'm lying there in bed. But I sure enjoy the sleep. I'm not going to lie and tell you I don't. It refreshes me. I'll tell you my body. And I'm thinking about work I got to do tomorrow. Let me finish this lesson. Hallelujah. He says, look at this now. He said that his seed shall fill the whole earth. Does it say that?
Yeah.
It says that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Verse 22. That's what he said. If a man can number the sands of the earth. How many of y'all can number the sands of the earth? Can you number the sands of the earth? Can you number the... I tell you what you do when you go down to the beach after tabernacle. You get a big bucket. It ought to be big. You look at, I'll tell you what to do. I'll tell you what to do then. You get your a cup. Fill it up. Take it off to the room and put you a piece of cardboard down and count every grain. You can't stop counting until you finish. You think you can try that? All right then. That speaks volume then. I'm not going to do it. You're not going to get through that during the whole week then. And that's just a fact. He said, if a man can number the sand of the earth. He did not even say the shores of the earth. If you can number the sands of the earth, his seed also shall be numbered. Now you see how these liars, if you can number the sand of the earth, if you put a number on them, or you can place a number, you take each granular of sand and put a number on that. Then you can number, you can put the number on the people of God. Then his seed shall be numbered. It says, and all the blessings wherewith Yah has blessed me, and my seed shall belong to Yaakov, and his seed always. So if you can number the sands of the sea, if you can take a cup, don't have to be no big cup. Get a cup about like that, about that high. Count every granular of sand. I tell you what you do, I'll give you a better, easier job. Take your tablespoon, go out there and get your tablespoon of sand, put it on a piece of cardboard, and I'll buy you a set of tweezers. With the fine point, I got a hose, I got 2 sets over there. That will pick up the smallest, and you count each granular of sand. How about that? And tell me if you get through. That's the riches of Yah upon his nation of people. We don't realize we began at the simple principle of Yah. Just loving each other and loving. First of all, loving him and loving each other. We will possess the land. We will possess the land. We would. Raise up our own physicians and our own doctors and our own caretakers. Take care of people people and take care of our sons and take care of our daughters. They live in their own way. Don't tell me we can't. But we're too damn selfish and greedy, and we're nasty, and we don't care.
Yes.
That's why the prophet said, kill them all, Jeremiah said, these same dirty bastards, I've poured out my heart, no sleep, but I've labored there and I've stood before you. You wanted to kill them, and then they dug a hole for me, kill them. He said, kill them all. He said, let the mammoths cry out, let them be bereaved. That's what God's going to do, nation. That's what he's going to do. You don't have to buy. He said, kill them all. These hypocrites say they love me, then they hate me, trying to kill me. That's the prophet. We don't know Yahshua. You may know a dirty faggot Jesus, but you don't know Yahshua.
Hallelujah.
He talks the same way he does Nomi talk. I'm going to show us something, you angry black women, Hebrew black women. Now we'll close with the book of Yeshua. I'm just going to read it. Just listen. It says here, this is the prayer of Yaakov and Rebekah. He says, and Rebekah said to him, but arise now you also and pray that Yah may hear your prayers and grant me children. I don't have no babies here. I don't have no babies. Have no children. And Yaakov hearkened to the words of his wife. And Yaakov and his wife rose up and they went to the land of Moriah. And they prayed there to seek Yah. They sought him out. Please, Yah, please, please. And they sought him out. And when they had reached that place, look what happened. Yaakov, he stood up. The man stood up. And he prayed to Yah on account of his wife, because she was barren. She had no babies. And he prayed, he stood up. So you just, I will remain here. Yah is going to hear me. He stood up. And Yaakov said to Almighty Yah, the Almighty of the heavens and the earth, whose love and kindness fill the earth, you who did take my fathers from his father's house and from his birthplace and did bring him to this land, and did say to him, to your zerah, to your seed, will I give the land. And you did promise him, and you declared it to him. Your word is your bond. You've got to fulfill it. This is how he's talking to Yah. You don't have to remind him, but he likes it. Ain't nothing like a son reminded. Daddy, you said you were going to take me fishing. Yeah, boy, come on, let's go. Daddy, when you said you were going to take me hunting, you said, I'm going to take you, boy. You get up in them trees, you don't know how to be quiet. I'm going to take you. Daddy, you said, and when he takes you, oh, I see your head moving. Must be, I must be on a line of truth here a little bit, huh? Ah, okay, I got you. We'll talk at the door. He says, I will multiply your seed as the stars of the heaven and as the sand of the sea. There's only one people, the sands of the sea. There's only one people that is identified in the book as the people, as the sand of the sea. And I stood upon the sand of the sea. And to see, did the Torah illustrate how evil they were, even to the Nomi that stood before Yah for them?
Yes.
Some evil people. We talk about the world as evil. The world doesn't know what evil is. They don't know what right is. We're the one that possess a Torah that teaches us right and wrong. And this is how they would know how that we are special to Yah. You get on the corner talking that crazy mess, calling the women of YHWH, saying things to them that is so violent and evil, calling them the B word and all that, man. You don't do that, fool. You're nothing but the little young jackass of a fool. Every kind of verbiage there is to demoralize them. That's wrong, man. We'll deal with you angry black Hebrew women. I declare to him, he said, I will multiply your seed as the stars of the heaven and as the sand of the sea. Now may your words be verified, which you spoke unto my daddy. You said it, now do it. You said we would be that way. Now, prove it. You think God's going to back down? He's not going to back down. It's not the challenge. He was blessed because you believed it.
Yes.
The just we live by faith.
Hallelujah.
We live by emuna. We live by no feel nice. We live by emuna. And he knew. He wasn't challenging y'all. These are your words. I haven't forgotten those. You understand? And that we just, he was young and now he's old. The righteous will never be forsaken. Or seed I begging bread.
Hallelujah.
I bought that. I believe that. It begins when we open the channels of his identity, that we're sealed with his seal. Knowing the heart that we love him, we care for each other. And that's how the world will know in every nation that this people, as they would say, everything they put their hands on turned to gold. That's the way it should be.
Hallelujah.
I'm not marching for nothing. I'm not begging for no food. If I die, I will die. I'm not begging. I would do just like YHWH did. You said it, Yah. I don't have to do that. And neither do we as a nation.
Hallelujah.
We got to deal with that nachash, that demon, that mindset of ours, that your principles don't mean nothing to you. Because your principles have no value. You're a liar, you're a cheat, you do everything evil. It is only those pillars whereby we stand that are healed by wisdom, that you understand the wisdom of counsel. You understand it's all right to be corrected. You understand it's all right for the Musa.
Yeah.
Look at who you are.
Hallelujah.
You're big, you think you are. Ha-ha, you've gotten. That is Musa's counsel correct you. You're not that big whereby you gave the wisdom of someone that can speak to you in profound knowledge of things. That's the one we've gotten. And this is how they will know that we are great people. Nothing but beggars. We're doing great things. You're not doing great things. We're not doing great things. We got a suitcase to show the world. The Catholic Church got one of the largest. What is that sect in India? Not the sect. What is that whole house they got there? I can't think of it. But they feed every single day 500,000 people. I've seen it. Whether you're rich or poor, you come and you eat them. And they feed them the same thing every day. The poor, the rich, they all go there and eat. And they all sit on the floor. And they do all the cooking by wood. So you're not doing nothing. You got a little soup kitchen in New York or Detroit, that's nothing. That don't mean a thing. Go out to the outreach center, they got more than that. Look at Unshackles there for over 200 years. 100 years. What is it, 200 or 100? 100 years. They're fed the poor. Give them beds and all of that. You're not doing that. Let's get there. Amazing riches of Yah. I get angry. And I'll explain why. I don't want an angry black woman. Hebrew black woman. Yeah, I put the black part there. And the Hebrew, he's the right guy, like. And I do. Encourage, I get in a haste sometime, but I want to get things done, but that's all right. You want to send an offerings and a gift to help. God grant you to come visit, come sit down and have a wonderful meal. Our daughter's cooking well. Let me say this before I close, and I'm hungry. I was reading an article this morning, and I read all the time. Listen, we gonna help each other, all right? Because one of the most powerful diseases in America is overtaking cancer and everything. I said to my Israel, you know what it is? She couldn't tell me. I wouldn't have known unless the article, the first thing, the most powerful disease in America right now is killing more people than anything. Number one, it's obesity. And that thing's, you do it on your own, but I'm not going to buy it here and things. Put it our babies and I'm not going to buy it. There ain't nobody who love fried chicken better than me. Not even you. Nobody who love fried chicken, fried fish better than me. There are things no, you don't eat, Mama. You're too small. I can eat more than you. I love it. Nobody. And I say to us all the time, you all can continue to do for your own demise, your own death. You all stop eating these nasty restaurants. Stop eating that. Don't eat that shit. I used to say that word. Don't eat it. They got these young faggots and all these, and you go in there and eat something that's sick in your mind. I don't give a damn who it is.
Yeah.
I don't care what particular with pork and all that. That's the most. We can help each other. If it wasn't for my leg hurting here, I would be out running. I would run circles around Ema back then. She can walk circles around me now. I'll be out every day. It's just that this hip, I wore it out, and this meniscus. Are we doing too many things I shouldn't have done? I feel excellent inside, I really do. I feel as healthy as one can be. But I have pains. And it's because of my stupidity, my foolishness. Because I wanted to be strong. I wanted to squat 700 plus pounds and bench over 500. I would have. I was a fool. I'm paying for it now. I'm going to be strong. Not the boast, I just wanted to do it. I will work at it hard too. Now I'm paying for it. And what I've sown, that I'm reaping it now. So I have to manage everything. I have to manage it. I want to be able to do what I do here until I die. There are things that we as a nation, we can't trust everyone. You all, you daughters don't go in the garden or anything like that, but you all ought to be not trying to grow something at your house. If you want to grow, you want to plot of land out there, we give you some. You grow all kinds of things. I'll buy the seed. Don't pull that bullshit, because you're not going to do anything.
True.
You'll put seed in the ground, you're going to let them die, burn up. Quit the bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's just a fact. Can't be lazy. And get up. We got to do things to help our bodies.
Yes.
You can take it for granted while I still look nice. No, we don't look nice. I tell my issue all the time. Because I said, look at that Buddha belly. Look at the ratio, what you look like. You think you look like what you do. And I don't want to sound crazy, but I want to get some kind of consciousness. We need to do that. Our health is important. There's no way, as wide as deep as hell is, I will let a faggot cook for me. And that's what works in these restaurants. Faggots always, in my day, they will always have a second job as in a restaurant. These fags work these restaurants. These little boys, they get mad at these little gals. What was that? We were, Jacqueline and I, yesterday. Now here we had spent over nearly $1,500, $1,400, $1,300 to get the stuff for this building. That's all we had spent. And this guy got an attitude, and I talked so he could hear me. I said, it's amazing that this individual with the attitude he got. And what is attitude about? I don't play. He heard what I said. I talked so he could hear me. I wanted him to hear me. He would have ate out of our hands after that. Oh, so cordial, so that, and I'm like, you should have jumped that way from the beginning. Because no one had said anything for you to have that little ranky little boy attitude. And so I'm getting up so you can see who I am. Big man beside me, yeah, people fear that kind of disposition. Don't play with us like that. This is what pay your salary, boy. You don't do that to me. We get so offended about nothing. I want to live. Your mothers, you want to live to raise your babies and see your daughters marry. It's causing such death because it creates an imbalance in our body,
Yes.
our blood sugar, all of that, none of that. We wear everything on our little shoulders, we get so upset. I know I'm overweight. I know I'm obese because my weight should be around 180. My height, my size, body type. That's skinny for me, but it should be that. And I'm every bit over 250 pounds. That's what I'm weighing. They said, why don't you weigh? He said, well, the last time I weighed, I was 250, and I ain't weighing no more. I need to weigh. I couldn't get on them britches last week. That's right, something like that. I just ain't not gonna win. She weighs every morning. For what? You don't understand. That was the time I was weighing every morning. I got 225. I look a little small. I don't like looking like 225. I can have 240, 45. That ain't no problem. 225. But I need to get down to 225. I need to get down to 200. I understand there are things that we eat. You always stop buying them cheap nickel-dime soda pop. You buy them, you cut all them with that potato chip. You need to stop that. It's not helping you. It's junk. Junk in, junk out. You know my intro she did me on the I can tell you everything I've been missing. I'm going to the dining hall in the morning. I didn't go yesterday morning because my legs. She'll be right tomorrow to get to work. Jerry, I did me some of the rice and eggs. She gives me the whole, she does it right for me. If I eat a nice breakfast in the morning, I can work hard all day. In this kind of weather, you have to eat something as a man. And then when I eat in the evening, I don't need nothing to go on at night. I'm being honest. Even when I'm treated, I don't even, what's that evening? I don't need nothing to go on. I don't need no cake, ice cream, big bag of chips and sit there and eat the whole bag. Come on. If I get a bag of those big jalapeno chips, I'm telling you the truth. I can eat off that one bag for a week. I eat a little bit. I give me one of those little things, a jalapeno cheese. I take enough. I take a tablespoon and take out enough. Not that I'm like greedy because I'm greedy. That's anyone. But I can eat off that for a week and I have a little bit of that apple cider and yeah, I'm straight. I don't eat the whole bag, but I can eat one of those bags. It takes me a week to eat one. I mean, spend $100. I said I eat the whole bag. I ain't gonna do that. Not that I can't, but I just don't. I don't feel like eating the whole bag at one time. I savor that, and I eat some tomorrow night. And the only reason my bag gets going early is when our visitors come to my office, and they're just like, you know where everything is. Look. You know how to dig over there, and look over there. Oh no, I don't want any of the poppy. Well, go ahead, you can have some. No poppy. You sure? Yeah, I'm sure. You sure? No, you take it poppy. No, go ahead. You sure? I'll just take a little bit. You can have it. No, they said we got this and I beat them. And they take my bag on down. That's how they go. So I got slick. I know how to hide it in a deeper hiding place. I don't eat chips every day. I don't eat them once a week. I don't eat them once a month. Every now and then I say, Ema, I'm telling you, buy me one bag of those jalapeno chips, just one. I don't like it when she brings 2 bags because you know why? It makes me upset, but I still eat that. I don't like when she brings 2 bags. Just give me one. That's all I want. Just bring me one bag. Just one bag. Yeah, I'm going to eat some potato chips. I'm not going to eat them every night. I'm not going to eat junk. I'm going to eat like that. I'm not going to do that. At times I have a little something, but they have me, you can check every one of my garbage bags. I take out my garbage about once every 2 weeks. That's all, because there's nothing in there. And every 2 weeks I take out my garbage. But then you're not going to find no big bags of soda pop and all that. You're not going to find it. I look at my garden and say, wow, you don't find no big bag of potato chips, nothing like that in there. I've always basically eaten this way. And we need to be with each other. You need to be with your babies, your children. You all don't get upset. Don't feel this way. Don't feel that way. Because I don't care how fine I think I is, the world doesn't see me that way.
True.
They may look at me like, look at that old man. He looks silly.
True.
And that's just a fact. Yeah, I don't think I'm pretty and how sexy you think you is. Stop that.
True.
Yeah.
It's all right by me. No, it's not all right. Come on, daughters. I haven't maintained this without eating. But I say this on this week, I said to my HHWH this morning, because that kind of disturbed me when I was reading and looking at that article. I said, you know, and when I tell you all this, you always say, oh, come on, preacher. I want to close with this. I had, day one she made me some of that little gravy. I love gravy. She make me some gravy. I put me a little bit of vegan protein in there. No soy. I can't handle the soy. Just a little vegan protein. She makes me some gravy. And I've been eating on that 3 days. I eat on that three days. And I bought me a thing of spinach, and I put that, we had rice one day, I put me a bed of spinach there, I put the rice on there, and I poured some of that gravy with the butter on there. That's how I do it. And I'm great. I don't have to have fried chicken today, got to have a steak tomorrow, I don't have to have a cheeseburger the next day. I've never been that way. I don't have to have it. I just don't have to have it. You go over there in that little box we got, anybody gonna look at it? You can go look at it, because there ain't nothing in it. I got me some coconut milk for my creamer. Every now and then I buy me some of the yogurts. And I got one in here that, oh, Poppy, that's my favorite yogurt. It's okay. I said, well, you can have it. This one. No, I don't want it. You sure? No, I don't want it. That's their favorite yogurt. And all of a sudden I found the yogurt. I make her take it. I don't mind giving that to the babies, the children. That ain't no big deal. No one's so happy. I want them to do it. I do it all of them. They come, when they come with them, you gotta get something for Levi, you gotta get something for him. That's how we do it. So I don't mind that. All I'm saying is that we have to, you daughters, we sons, we have to help each other. I need help.
Hallelujah.
I'm impressed when I see brothers discipline their eating and stuff like that. And can I say this, that I don't waste money going out buying junk. I don't spend money. I may go out and buy, we don't have no spinach or nothing, no spinach in the garden. I'll go buy some. I will. And I'll go, and many times I get the kind frozen for, I may get me 5 of those. I'll eat a pizza every now and then. I'll get me one of the little thin crust to even scrape everything off. I don't want all that little gooey bread. And put some vegan protein on that. And a little bit of cheese, and that's it. And that's it. And I put spinach on it. Spinach is something, just make me like that. So we have to change our whole taste bud range. We have to. And our bodies are so poison, we just eat. And you all know about them dollar store sodas and all. It's nothing but corn syrup. It's killing us. That will kill you. If anything, just buy. You're going to drink a soda, buy some with the pure cane sugar. Do I buy sugar from? Yeah, I take one of those bags of sugar. I got many kinds of sugar. Only thing I use sugar for is when I make my mushroom coffee. That's it. I just use mushroom coffee. And one of those bags, it will last me for the because I don't make coffee every day. And I'll use my bag of that raw organic sugar, and I put me some in there. That's what I'll do. I like that ginger ale too. I love that. I love living too. That canes, that old, you don't know what that syrup is because there's a market in America, and I close with it. They call it a commodity market. They buy stuff just like doing the Dow Jones. or Standards and Poor. You know, they bid on stuff. And so whatever is the cheapest on the market, the sugar, they buy sugar. Coca-Cola buy sugar. If it's cheaper to buy syrup, they're going to buy corn syrup. And they buy whatever is cheaper for their product, and they add it. You may buy Coke and it says, I don't know what it says, what I'm saying to you about, so it says sugar. Next time it's a fructose corn syrup. And that's how it is. So whatever is cheap on the market, that's what they buy, that's what they make. And that's what we drink. And we don't even know what that stuff is. Our people were more healthier than us. You had women that were big boned and they were strong, but they were healthy. They get out with all that kind of beer because my grandmother cooked. And she'd go home and cook. Women today can't do anything.
True.
They can't.
True.
I love you, daughters. Aim black Hebrew woman. You'll understand.
Hallelujah.
They can't do anything. The sunburns of they. My grandmother, and they wore bonnets too. My grandmother wore bonnet all the time. She wore a long dress all the way down to her foot. And she would go to the cotton field because I went there. And I recall that. And we picked cotton. And my grandmother was leaving, go start to sow, and a little old garden on the side. And my grandmother did all that. And she didn't have no, but pick up and go to Walmart because there was no Walmart. She walked to the store. She didn't tell us, go down to the dime store and get me some of that bread. No, grandmother would walk a minute, she'd take all of us. They don't have that kind of resilience like we do. Come on. All I'm saying, you want to be healthy. Our babies, your children need you, all of us. Your daddies, they need you as well. I'm just getting on, starting here. Because I can confess my greediness. I love me some fried fish. I love some fried salmon. I love fried chicken. I can't say that about steak but give me the fried fish. I can't say that about goat meat. I love goat meat, but I'd rather have fried chicken. If I could eat anything but fried chicken and fried fish, that's what I eat. Give me the fried fish and the fried chicken. I don't have to have the steak, although I love some steak. I don't have to have the deer meat and the goat's meat, and our goats are growing, and I said, boy, it'd be nice to take a couple of these out for tabernacle. I would just go ahead and roast them. I may take a couple out, just roast them all night on that grill. But we have to. Don't get upset. Get upset with no one, and there's nothing you can do. Son, daughter of YisraYah'ale. We be the example to others and help each other. There's nothing you can do. Nothing. You can't do it. It affects us here too.
True. Hallelujah.
It does. So don't tell me you can't. Quit eating that junk, all of it. No junk. I told you, we're not going to here. A little something sweet once a week, that's it. These young men, you feed them cookies every day they eat. Sometimes they say, well, look at this bread right here. Who made that bread? You probably only go eat something. No. Ain't nothing but a piece of cake. It's all right to eat cake in the morning. And the young ones love it. I don't blame them. We didn't have stuff like that when I was growing up. My grandmother threw some dough or something in the pan, somebody put it in the oven. It was sweet, you ate it, you liked it too. It made no difference at all. We have to govern our, because we're putting things in our sons and our daughters when they get older, it's going to affect them.
True.
You want them to have every advantage of life. You can do it, don't tell me you can't. Yeah. You get around silly people and crazy people and people that want to do some crazy stuff, and they don't want you to enhance because they're not going to enhance themselves.
True.
You understand? You all can do that. And if you don't be selfish with each other, you help each other. You tell them you're wrong, sister. Come on, stop that. And just help each other. There's nothing wrong with that. It's right to do that. When I went to the gym, I used to go to the gym every day. I went to the gym every day. I get off from work, I go home. Even a fair dance, I'm gone. It was like an addiction to me. I went every single day. Every day. Every day. I came home and came to study and do all of that. But I went every day. Because I went to work early. I was at work at 6. 2:42, I'm home at 3, I'm home. I can sit down, not in there, we talk, we that. But take me 15 minutes to get to the gym and I'm going to the gym. Every day I would go. Every day. Rain, hail, fire, what? I went. I did it. I'm just being honest. And so when you see others trying, then you want to try, don't you? We have to get out of our attitude. That's the main thing. And you don't realize that what we eat makes our attitude fickle. What we eat make our attitude figure. And stop eating at midnight, 10 at night. You can't eat no hamburger at 10 at night. If I eat at 10 at night, I'm gonna have monster calls on me. I am, man. What was that? She made me a pizza. And she put some of that. Every now and then I get some soy. That's every now and then. And she put some of that soy protein on there. Oh, I was crying up. I was hollering like the wolves. I was thinking, that's nothing but that soy. It had me hollering like a wolf. It's just something about that stuff. It doesn't interact with my body. I won't mess with it. Every now and then I just a little bit. But as far as eating that consistently every day, I wouldn't eat it. I would eat it once a week or once a month. Let us stand to our feet. Bless you all. Bless you all that have joined. Send a gift to help us, all right? In all things, we do Barak in Yahweh, in my name, bless your nation, your people, guide us, and teach us, and keep us in your way in all things. Heal us. Touch each one of us, our babies, our husbands, our wives, and all in Yahshua's name. Bless those that have joined us. The blessed name of Yahshua HaMashiach. Hallelujah. 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 Yeah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Torah of Yah. You cannot go around the Torah of Yah. Cannot go around the Torah of Yah. It's so high, you can't go over it. So low, you can't go under it. So wide, you can't go around it. Cannot go around the Torah of Yah. Can't go around, can't go around, no, you can't go around, can't go around the Torah, can't go around, can't go around, no, you can't go around, can't go around the Torah. It's so high, it's so low, it's so wide, can't go around the Torah. It's so high, it's so low, it's so wide, can't go around the Torah. Can't go around, can't go around, no, you can't go around, can't go around the Torah. Can't go around, can't go around, can't go around, can't go around the Torah. It's so high, it's so low, it's so wide, can't go around the Torah. It's so high, it's so low, it's so wide, can't go around the Torah. Cannot go around the Torah of Yah. Cannot go around the Torah of Yah. No, you cannot go around the Torah